is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show. This.
So here we are. I wanted to show you the backyard again because we had some trouble last time, but you know, cuttersedgepro.com does some amazing stuff, and they're the boys and the girl. They're having fun. There we go. Right, Maiden? Right, Bono? There we go. They're having fun. I'm having fun. Look at our Sylvester palm. It is beautiful. We got another one in the front yard like that. You can take your home and landscaping to the next level. And the artificial turf, look at that. Look at that. The two dinosaurs going at it, huh? Look at that. Gotta love the dinosaurs. Look at them. They like to bite each other's legs. That's what they do. They play with each other and then they bite each other and they piss each other off. It's fun. One is Bono, which is the one farther away from you, and Maiden. She's the girl right here. She's a badass. That's for sure. So anyway, see the flowers are coming out. Very nice. cuttersedgepro.com, folks. This big tree there will start budding that I'm showing you there soon. It'll have all kinds of flowers. I'll post another video and I'll show it to you. This is a backyard where everybody gets to hang out. Over there in the corner there, I put the barbecue and cook. So that way it's the farthest away from the house, you know. If I light myself on fire or somebody else, we're out in the corner away from everybody. There you go. So you're getting some flowers coming out, which is a beautiful thing. And I swear by this artificial turf, it always looks phenomenal. I don't have to cut it. I don't have to water it. And so I'm saving a lot of money, hundreds and thousands in the long run, because I'm not watering or, of course, cutting the grass. And you know, here in South Florida, we cut the grass like every 10 to 14 days.
When you move, you need a reliable company led by passionate folks eager to assist its customers during a transitional process that needs to be smooth. Call Essential Moving Experts at 844-368-5750 for all your local and long-distance moving needs. You can rely on Essential Moving Experts. Mention the Big O Radio Show and get $150 off. Family owned and operated. They offer free 30-day storage, full service moving, fully licensed, bonded, and insured. Moving was never so easy. EssentialMovingExperts.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All righty, welcome aboard, boys and girls, and we are live at beautiful Hialeah Park, historic Hialeah Park, as we are every Thursday for many years now, and we appreciate it immensely. Always look forward to these Thursdays here at Hialeah Park, where we are giving you the no-regret first bet, $100. You got to go to the Hialeah Park website, open up your account, and remember, if you have a Hard Rock account, okay, this is tied to the Hard Rock, don't use the same email or phone number because then you won't get the $100. Use a completely different email or phone number when you open up the account here at Hialeah Park on the website and get your first bet, no regret first bet, $100, Hialeah Park. So Make sure you do that, man. And hopefully Steve will join us later. I'm not sure if he's coming by. He might be coming by, and then he'll tell us maybe any new giveaways coming out since they just gave away the Mercedes. I know they're deciding on what's the next big giveaway out here. So we will have some fun with all of that. As always, lots of things going on. David Furones will join us at 4. So we'll talk a little Dolphins with David, and we'll have some fun with him. Although it's not necessarily fun talking Dolphins lately because it's not really good stuff. We do have some Dolphins information for you that we got, and so we will share some of that. Did some digging and see if I can find out some stuff for you all. So we'll get to all of that. Locally, it was not a good night for the Heat, the Panthers, and the Canes. That was not good. There's something interesting to talk about, I think, in free agency for the Dolphins that I'd like to go over. News around the NFL, a couple shocking notes, and one that wasn't really a surprise. I want to get to that also. Some local stuff, of course, and a little music and entertainment, as always. Some crypto, which I've got some stuff to talk about, which I am grateful and blessed to be able to talk about it. So we'll be able to talk about that. So all of that and more. Louis M says, Big O, you look skinny as hell. No, I'm not skinny. Okay. I have lost 14 pounds. So it's good. My cholesterol and triglycerides and all that kind of stuff is down. So that's actually good for me. The only thing bad now that I got is I'm gonna have foot surgery, unfortunately. My right foot is messed up. Walking right now, kind of a little bit of a limp, unfortunately, because on Saturday I was hanging out with my wife and the dogs outside in the backyard, thanks to Cutter's Edge Pro, because the backyard is so fun to hang around. And so I turned to Bono and I said, hey, come on, Bono, let's go inside, because he had done his business. And when I turned, I felt like a pop or like a snap or something. And brother, I was just getting pain from that moment. And then I noticed there was like a bone that's protruding out of the top of my foot. And I'm like, wow, did I break something or snap something? Because it was brutal. Like if I'm putting weight on it, it hurts, I can walk, but I'll be walking in pain. It's one of those things. You just tolerate the pain, and I got to do what I got to do. Unfortunately, I got to work. And then I'm like, man. And then when I sat down, there was no pain, and it would subside and it would go away. So I went to a foot specialist yesterday, and they told me I have these two bone spurs right in my midfoot, right where one of the parts where there's like parts that like can bend and all that, like multiple parts. Well, right there where two peaks meet, each of them has like a level of calcium that is built up, dude. And it's like these two ass points, and they're going right into a tendon, and the tendon that's going over my foot and guiding the toes. So it's stabbing the tendon. Sounds like a lot of fun, right? So yesterday they gave me this cortisone shot. They stuck it in there in between the crack and filled it up with cortisone and all that kind of crap. And then today I went to go see the foot specialist, that is the one that operates. And so now I've got to get that operation, and I'll be in a boot for like 3 months. And the best part is, not only do I have those two bone spurs at the top of my arch, but then they found like a bone spur right next to the Achilles tendon. You look at the x-ray, it looks like I don't need spurs. Like, I could just hit the horse and with my own, developed spur or something. It's funny. It really is. So they're going to fix that too at the same time, because I'm like now 5 times more likely to slice and bust up my Achilles. And so I said, yeah, let's fix this because at 57, I don't want to be rehabbing an Achilles, bro. I'm too old to be rehabbing Achilles. I'm too old already as it is. I'm falling apart. Anyway, so that's my day. So I'm waiting now for them to make the appointment and or make the appointment for the surgery. That's the next thing now. I don't know how long it is. So I have been watching what I eat, cutting the coke, all that kind of stuff, trying to eat less crap, drink less bad stuff, and it's gone well for me, and no exercise. I haven't. I actually was going to start walking with the wife. That's going to end because I was walking, then I stopped, and so now, brother, there's no way I can walk now. Man, that is terrible. So it's a beautiful thing. So we got a lot of things to talk about. A little crypto, of course, because I got a lot of good stuff I want to talk about on the crypto side. Because first of all, I want to thank. I don't know, are there crypto gods? There's football gods, right? Because they certainly hate our ass, right? So we got football gods, and they certainly hate the Dolphins because they, obviously give us every bit of bad luck that we can get. But the crypto gods, I gotta thank the crypto gods. Because a couple of weeks ago, we had the FUD from the SEC with the whole thing with the ETFs. People freaked out, right? And everything dumped, right? And it was great because those of us were able to get in. I got my Neutron really cheap, right? And then after, I was able to get my Kryptonite, really cheap and all that. And so now that we have the ETFs going, the hurdle we're overcoming right now, first of all, is what's going on with Grayscale. Because Grayscale, they had like 600,000 Bitcoins in their Bitcoin holding. Problem is, people are now, they weren't able to take out their money and their profits from the Bitcoin holding the last few years. This is like the first time in like over 3 years they've been able to take it out. And because of the ETFs, they're giving them the opportunity to get out, get your profits, and if you want to get into the ETF. So you're seeing people sell off there. And so there's a lot of Bitcoin being sold off, and then there's a lot of Bitcoin being bought, right? And the Bitcoin that's being bought is at a great pace that if you just leave that pace every day, it's going to shoot up. But we have to get through the Grayscale thing, like I've told you the last couple of days. And the outflows are still topping the inflows right now. Once everyone has been able to get out of their Grayscale that are going to get out and then get into the ETFs, then that will level off and then Bitcoin will start to climb. But in the process, as I say to the crypto gods, I want to thank them. I want to thank the crypto gods. I mean, for you newbies out there, Bitcoin's lower now. 41, 42, you got a great shot at getting in because it's going to shoot right back up to 50 in no time. And it'll be at 60 very soon. This is just one of those bumps in the road because of what's happening now in that transition with Grayscale. Plus, the miners are selling for the final time before this bull run. They've got to be able to buy the goods that they need to run all their miners. And then on top of all of that, if they want to buy more miners, and they've got to pay for mortgages and rent and all that kind of stuff. So, and employees and salaries. So the miners are pulling out their last bit because the next bull run, Bitcoin's going to go through the roof and they know it. So they're going to keep their Bitcoin. So you've got a little bit of the miners selling. You've got the Grayscale stuff going. And then, of course, I'm sure you've got some soft hands that are panicking in the process. And they're selling because, they don't really know. They don't really understand what's really going on. But for me personally, I got to tell you, I've been buying kryptonite. I just bought some more before I got in. It's in the 8 cents area. So I'm able to load up again in the 8 cents area for kryptonite. I freaking love it, dude. Because I was able to get kryptonite in the 8 and 9 cent area the last time in this dip. And as I told you guys, you have to be disciplined and you have to stay with it. And if you believe in whatever project you're investing, of course, you got to do your own homework. I'm not a financial advisor, I believe in neutron. I believe in kryptonite. And so I'm going to wait for my number to come again. And I said, hey, I got to get it down in the 9-8 cent area. And once again, it came back down to the 9-8 cent area. Once it hit the 8 cent area, I started buying. You know what I mean? Because that's what I want to do. I want to lower my overall price. So that's kind of the way you want to do it. That's how you invest. You continue to lower your overall price. And then that way, when it rebounds, boom. By the way, I told you guys on Saturday. Saturday was our game, right? The Kansas City game was Saturday, right? Saturday night. Saturday night, I told you guys about Shido, and it's up 26% today. I am over 75% in the profit on Shido, probably 50 to 60% since I told you guys on Saturday. Now, but it was kind of in passing. I didn't really get into it, but it's up a lot. I like Shido. That's a blockchain. That's a young blockchain that can be flipped over and over and over again. And right now, man, I'm close to doubling my investment. I wish I would have invested more into Shido, actually, is really what I feel. Anyway, so I would tell you that in this process where there's dips all throughout, lower your average on whatever you believe in. Okay? If that average is lower for you, then take advantage of it and do it. For you newbies out there, I mean, you've got Bitcoin. You may have bought it for the first time at 44 or 45 or 43. You've got a enormous break right now. It's at 41,077. I mean, it's ridiculous. So take advantage, because in a couple months, you're going to look back and go, wow, I'm glad I took advantage. Or in a couple months, you're going to regret that you didn't take advantage of that. So I want to thank the crypto gods. First of all, Gary Gensler for being a complete screw up a couple of weeks ago. Whatever the gods did to him to screw it up and lowered and gave us that dip. And then there was that bounce back. And now we've got Grayscale giving us this dip here. And this is the blessing that every investor is looking for. These are the breaks that you want to follow up on. So there you go. All right, that's my crypto gods moment there for you all. A little roll call. I see Ray Sosa is in first. Yeah, Toronto. They thought they had that game in the bag, bro. They really did. They weren't trying last night. They were completely out of tune last night. Brooklyn Rob is in the house. Had sports night in South Florida. I'm looking forward to the draft talk soon, since that's the only thing that gives us hope. Amen. I will have some nuggets for you today. True FinFan says, today I'm the proudest father on earth. My son farted in the car right before getting off to go to school and said, enjoy, Mom. Tears of joy. That's a son that gets it. That's it. That's true FinFan right there, through and through. No doubt about that. Cosa Nostra says, wish I was in South Florida, not frigid cold Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and New York. What are you, 4 people? Are you traveling or something? Are you like 4 different people or something? You're in 4 different states at the same time? And you are freezing. You just picked up like all the cold states. That is not good. Gus 1388 is in the house. Angelo De Jesus is in. Yes.
Did you see the question that was asked to Todd Bowles?
About the weather and that they play inside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know who asked that question, right? It's what you've been talking about. The whole situation. The whole situation.
They sent a news person.
They sent a news person who had no clue,
right? Because
the sports they were off, so they sent the news reporter. No clue, just thinking, hey, it's Detroit, 18 degrees. Oh, let me ask about the weather.
Right. And by the way, they've been playing in a dome in Detroit for decades.
Yeah, I don't remember them ever playing outside.
Like that woman doesn't watch any sports whatsoever.
No, they just said whoever was at the desk was like, go get the press conference.
Yeah. Yeah, lazy shit, man.
But they should at least look. They play in a dome. Don't ask dumb questions because
dude,
now
it's
like
up to you.
No,
right?
It's
up to you to do your own homework.
You should do the homework, but at the same time, at least send somebody that might be.
But sometimes
know about
you can
sports.
if you're so limited. You probably don't have enough employees, and all these newspapers don't have anymore. So you have what you have, and it's a bigger story than anything else going on locally. Yeah. So we got to send you because the Lions never make the playoffs, never actually go to the second round. So we need to send you, and then you've got all or the Bucks or whatever. And so it's a great story. So we got to send somebody to cover it, and that's what happens.
Jeez,
lazy people.
Just wow.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it is. It was funny. It was funny. Angelo De Jesus is checking in. Let's see. Big O will reveal the insider information he's been withholding from us now that our season is in the history books. Inquiring minds need to know. Maybe we might be releasing some information today that I'm not saying could be related to that, but I don't know. You know, it's information you want to know. It's information you can't get anywhere else. Okay, so we will give it to you. Don't worry. Let's see. Lewis says never take gambling advice from Ira. What a stinker that he pulled up last night. Yeah, I'm telling you, they did not. They looked at that team and said, "Oh, these guys, come on, bro. These guys have mailed it in. We're gonna win this one easily." And they came out firing, and Miami did not bring the fire, and they couldn't make a basket, three-pointer, regular shot, whatever. And then those guys couldn't miss, and it was over. It was just one of those nights. Well, it's just one. That's what I said to myself last night. This is just one of those nights where it goes great for them and not for us. Let's see. Oscar Rojas is in. What else? Sneak attack. Good afternoon. I'm taking advantage of these dips. It's all about dollar cost average. That's right. Lisa Rose is in. I bet she's taking advantage of the dip. Daniel Berry, John Padilla. One-Eyed Jack says the lazy take the Tua. Oh, yeah. I mean, dude, I don't care about any of that. I'm not wasting my time with it. Johnny D, Big O, I posted on Twitter about Wilkins, and sorry, didn't see what you said on the show. Was out of town on business. Hopefully they will get it done with Wilkins. Anyway, Brian Walter, good afternoon. My girlfriend is selling a lot of Bitcoin. Wolves are investing a lot here, trading company. Oh, okay. I see you're saying that she's selling a lot of Bitcoin and the Wolves are buying. I see what you're saying. Yes. Yes. Yeah. If you panic, you're just going to give the powerful people your Bitcoin, and you're going to regret when that thing is several $100,000 or it gets to a freaking $1 million. There's only a certain finite amount, and when it's done, it's done. So, I'm telling you, hang in there, be smart. Let's see. McDaniels is to blame on the play calls, but what's up with some of the passes? Les Jam, I finally saw that last episode of Hard Knocks. I was hoping it would end differently. It was tough going through those emotions. Yeah. It was a lazy last episode. It wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. It was kind of a lazy thing. Anthony Campos says, since you're the Dolphins priest, who's more of a Judas in your eyes, Nick Saban or Jimmy Johnson? We can use both of them in the Dolphins Bible, but maybe Nick Saban is the snake in Adam and Eve. I would go Jimmy Johnson way over Nick Saban, because what Jimmy Johnson did to Dan Marino was pretty much a crime. And he actually limited his team by doing that. He hurt his team and hurt his quarterback by doing all of that. So for me, Jimmy is number one by miles and miles. Saban's, downfall is just that he lied. He didn't do a bad job as a coach, dude. Okay, I don't think I remember most of us really. I don't remember any of us really ripping Saban the coach.
Yeah, I think the way he left put more of a sour taste in everybody's mouth, where they forget the record that he had. No matter what, they like, yeah, Saban lied to us.
He was 9-7, and
I think he was 9-7. Yeah,
and something. He won 9 games with Gus Farrar.
Yeah, no, that's.
And Jason Taylor
you
was
brought it up to me before. Like I was one of those. Like once Saban left, it was like, oh, I don't care what the record. You could have went 16-1.
Right.
You weren't going undefeated because I wouldn't have accepted that. But
But the Jimmy teams, you could have done more if you would have, taken care of Marino the right way and given him the stuff that he needed. So Nick's downfall here was that he lied. That's all. He kept lying that he wasn't going to be the Alabama coach, and he obviously was the Alabama coach. Let's see. Popeye is in. Brett Dodger. Must be from all the booting you had to do to all the morons and trolls in the chat over the years. Good luck with the operation. Thank you. It's an outpatient stuff, so it's not a big deal. It's just a pain in the ass now after is what you have to deal with. Jamie, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Brian Landis. Big O will be borrowing Jalen Phillips' mobility scooter. Let's see. T. Fembrin or something like that. No soft hands here. Buying the dips and the miners as well. Thursday, statistically, the most likely red day in Bitcoin. Yeah, man. I'm glad. I mean, I'm not loading up that much on Bitcoin. I buy a little bit every once in a while, and because I've got enough already, I'm pretty good. But I'm still trying now the alts, and especially some of the new ones that I've added lately. Like I can't reload on Pendle because it's shot up to a ridiculous. Even with the dip, it's at a ridiculous number. Neutron is coming down. It's in the 120s. If it dares to get down close to the $1.90, $1.05 or some, then I'm diving into Neutron again because I've lowered my number of Neutron. I need to do that. But for me, that's what I'm doing right now. Whatever I can lower, or I would tell anybody add Bitcoin or Ethereum as much as you can. Not a financial advisor, but that's what you got to do, man. That's what you got to do. This baby's going to explode, and then you're going to regret it. Peter De La Torre, to be ruthlessly honest, I do not see the Dolphins going to the Super Bowl with McDaniel and Tua. Okay, that's fine. Then, brother, there's nothing else to talk about, nothing else to watch. It's over for you guys. Like I said, you're not going to get – I'm not here to convince you. You know what I mean? You want to jump off the bridge, you go ahead and jump off the bridge. I don't give a shit anymore. I've already done this for many years. I'm not doing this again. You know what I mean? So I'm not here to worry about what you don't believe in. I don't really care. Alf is in. Never forget that Jimmy built the framework of a good roster that got handed to Wani, who set up the next 20 years of failures. Yes, he did great for the defense. He set up the defense. But as much as he did on defense, he was that bad on offense. And so that's where I can't forgive him because, what he did in Marino, I watched that. I covered it every day. I was in the locker rooms. And, Dan was miserable, bro. Miserable. I remember having to ask him. I had to ask Dan Marino, how would you react if Jimmy benched you? Because the play wasn't, and all that. Hated having to ask him that. Hated having to ask him, but somebody had to ask him. And it was bad, bro. It was a bad, bad time. That locker room, Brian Walker was forced to play with a partially torn ligament in his knee, which he then went on to completely tear it. Was it J.J. Johnson, the running back, had like a quarter hole in his hamstring. They were forcing his ass to play. I mean, and the stuff that went on, the stories that I can tell you. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that era. I'm a fan of those players that came out of it, but the leadership at that time was ruthless, was self-centered, and really was not doing what was best for the franchise. And the final year of Jimmy that he put the training wheels on and brought in Wani, brother, It was just Heineken being rolled in every week. And you're like, oh, okay. So head coach is loading up on his weekly cases of Heineken, and he didn't even go to the combine, didn't even go to the Senior Bowl. I mean, you talk about mailing it in. That guy gets no breaks ever. Will get any breaks here at all, ever. I'm not giving it to him. What he did to Marino, I will never, ever, 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 ever forgive him for that. So, anyway, Big O, it's hard to believe that the season is over in a blink of an eye. I hope we come back healthy and stronger and take care of some of unfinished business. So do I, my friend. So do I. Let's see. What else do we have going on in the world of sports? By the way, David Furones will join us at the top of the hour, so he'll join us at 4 o'clock. I can't even light up a Perdomo cigar for the Heat, the Panthers, Canes. I got nothing. You know what? But I got an MVP. I can do that. I can find even an MVP. Because, Cutter's Edge Pro, William Quigley and company, they are, when it comes to landscaping, they are the MVPs of South Florida. Go to cuttersedgepro.com. I'll give you my MVP of the night. Here we go.
Who's last night's MVP? For your complete landscape solutions anywhere in South Florida, there's only one MVP. CuttersEdgePro.com. Here's our CuttersEdgePro.com MVP of the night.
Now, on the basketball side, I'm not giving anybody an MVP. Okay, but the Panthers lost in overtime. Okay, they lost 3-2. But I got to give Reinhardt my MVP. I know they lost, but that was his 33rd goal on the season, and he's got 23 assists. This guy is playing out of his freaking mind. Okay? I mean, 33 goals in 44 games. That's stupid. Okay? I mean, the man's on pace for like 60 goals. Okay? It's crazy. So I know that normally we pick our Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night, and it usually comes from a victory. But while I'm watching that game last night, I kind of ended up watching more of the Panthers, and the Heat just did not look like they were, they did not take this thing seriously. And then Toronto, apparently after all the trades, they were hungry, I guess, to prove themselves without those guys. Sure enough. So I was like, let me focus on the Panthers. They are the better team, and they are the best team in town. I think until Inter starts playing, but Inter's got to prove it and show the chemistry. But the Panthers are the best team in town. That's not even close. That's not up for discussion. So I stuck with them because I said, okay, maybe the Panthers can get out of their mini funk. And no, they lost 3 in a row. Friday they'll take on Minnesota, but I got to give Reinhardt a lot of love, brother. Another goal last night, 33rd on the season. Sam Reinhardt is our Cutter's Edge Pro MVP of the night.
The MVP of the night is brought to you by CuttersEdgePro.com. Servicing HOAs, condominiums, townhomes, commercial properties, corporate parks, and malls throughout South Florida. CuttersEdgePro.com. Providing South Florida MVP performance every day of the year.
All right, so we're back. So I would go with Screw, Killing an Arab. Six different ways. I mean, there's so many, dude. So many. Too many. So there you go. So we had some internet issue, and we are back. Appreciate you, as always. Don't forget, you can always make a donation through Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. And there is a Bitcoin dip right now, so you can make a Bitcoin donation on Cash App or Venmo. You know how those Bitcoin donations make me really happy. Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. And you can send in your questions, comments, insults, all that kind of stuff on Cash App or Venmo. Okay? Big O, who do you think is our priority to keep on the roster next year? I would say the lineman. I would say Hunt. I would say Connor Williams. I would say what's it called? The safety. Blank Holland. Javon Holland. I would say guys like that are probably some of your priorities. Let's see. Peter, thank you for the love in the super chat. Big O, doesn't Greer share in some responsibility for the failure since 2016? He hired coaches, chose the QB, and relinquished the draft cap. He's only hired the last two coaches, my man. Okay? He's only hired the last two coaches. He's really been in charge like the last 5 years. A couple of years before that, he had influence in the draft, but not necessarily in free agency or hiring coaches and all that. I know you guys like to make up stuff, but and the media too, by the way, are also misinformed. Some of them that make up shit like that, but that's not the case. So, not going anywhere. So, I don't know, whatever, bro. If you guys want to keep complaining about Tua and Greer, you can go ahead and keep wasting your time. It's going to fall on deaf ears here because I'm just not going to bother with it anymore. I'm just going to kind of skip over it and not worry because it's just a stupid question that keeps getting answered, and there's no reason to approach it anymore. They're coming back. That's it. Whether you like it or not. You don't like Tua? Too bad, bro. Give up on the team. Don't watch anymore. You know what I mean? But complaining about it, it's not going to get you anywhere because he's back. You don't like him? Give up on the team, dude. Don't watch. Don't follow. Don't care. That's all. I certainly don't care about the fact that you don't like him or don't believe in him. Okay? Just so you'll know. Anyway. Finn's rule. I believe the NFL wants the Swifties in the Super Bowl. Bills will have to deal with a crooked refs this week, and I project Swifties winning a couple of horrible ref calls. Nah, I don't think it has anything to do with it. I get it, bro. All you people do nowadays, like 80% of you come up with these silly, it's all these conspiracy theories with zero proof. So I kind of understand that that's the world now. We come up with a conspiracy. That's why I had fun with the hey, Chris Greer's dad worked for Belichick. Greer also worked for the Patriots for a short time. Belichick would trust Greer. Belichick sees his quarterback beat him every time. He needs a team. He stays in the division, which he knows. He gets revenge on the Patriots. You know, so I had fun with a conspiracy theory because that's kind of the way things are nowadays. You know, you guys, since whatever it is, since you're not happy with whatever it is, the result of whatever, let me come up with a conspiracy theory that will satisfy me so I can deal with the disappointment that I have a little better. That's the silliness that we have nowadays in this world.
You forgot the best part of conspiracy
Saturday night is also a phenomenal. There's too many, bro. Too many. Yes, sir.
You forgot about the best part of conspiracy theory.
What's that?
Another Dolphin head coach would end up beating
Yes,
Don Shula's record.
Exactly.
But it would be still in Dolphin family.
Right. Yep. Let's see. Just bought more Crip Sailor. Thank you. There you go, Jerry G. Good for you, dude. Good for you. Good luck to you, sir. Good luck to you. Where's it at right now? Has it gotten any lower? Because that is, it was down 22% the last time I checked. On Crow, it's down 23%, but kind of the same area, still in 84.66. That's where I've kind of loaded up myself. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's beautiful, Ro. Beautiful. Neutron's down 10%, down to $1.24. I need to go lower before I buy. Vanar chain went all the way up to 7.2 cents. But I'm in the 5 to 5.5 area, so it's at 6.3. It hasn't gone low enough for me there. And Pendle, my God, Pendle, we're in the $1.34 area, and it's at a $1.97 on a dip. Pendle's barely dipping. So there you go. What else do we have here on the chat board? Loading up on Pepe and Kulo. Kulo is a new one. I think they got Warren Sapp involved in Kulo and everything. Pepe is, I don't know. It's been like this for, I don't know about Pepe. I mean, I'm not a meme guy. I don't get into any meme coins, to be quite honest. I did the SHIB in the first bull run and I cashed in, and now I'm playing with house money and I left the rest of my SHIB that's there sitting there. But I'm just kind of waiting for that. But I just don't do the meme coins because it's just too risky. Way too risky. Yes, sir.
Were those two meme coins founded in Hialeah?
Yeah, kind of, right? Yeah. Yeah. Kulo is a new one. Yeah, Kulo is a new one. So it's Kulo is in the Polygon, I think, blockchain. I want to say.
Now, is that their actual name, or is that just the okay?
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was like, a longer name and they just call it.
No, Kulo. No, Kulo is the acronym. So yeah, definitely. Let's see. I never believed the NFL was rigged until I saw the Dolphins versus Eagles game. It's not rigged. It's just incompetent, dude. It's not rigged. You know what I mean? Not rigged. The Tua is one of the most popular players in the NFL. The Dolphins' ratings actually have grown immensely with this high-powered offense. So if they really wanted to, why wouldn't you want one of the most high-powered offenses? Did HBO not approach the Dolphins? Okay. So, I mean, it's silly. That's all. Has nothing to do with it. It's just incompetence. That's all. Nothing more, nothing less. And it's the crap that we've got to deal with. And you guys conveniently don't mention calls when you get the breaks. You only remember the ones that go in your favor. You don't remember the ones that actually also are bad calls that went for the Dolphins, and then they get breaks. And that's happened the last couple of weeks where they gotten some calls that they got lucky. There was a one for one of our defensive backs in the KC game that got away with a hold. I forgot which one it was and all that. Huh? It was Apple. Yes. Apple got away with that hold on the right hand. Yeah. Yes. But yeah, that's fans. You're only going to remember what affects you. You're not going to be objective whatsoever. And the incompetence is all over. Listen, what's more at fault is the Dolphins' incompetence, not the referee's incompetence. Okay? Blame Mike McDaniel and the players. They're the ones that screwed all of this up. Blame the coaches. Blame Fangio and his defense against Tennessee with 3 minutes left. Okay? Those are the things that you have to point your finger at. Pointing your fingers at the referees, that's what losers do. Okay? The reason why you're out, it's because Mike McDaniel and his staff and his players failed miserably. That's why. They choked out the season. They went 2-4, and it had nothing to do with the refs. Watching Tyreek Hill get his ass handed to him by Jarius Byrd had nothing to do with the referee. What's that?
Snead too.
And Snead too. Yeah. Snead and Byrd just assaulted those guys, and they couldn't do anything. So if I'm them, I'd be working on getting off the line in the offseason because they treated Tyreek Hill like an Oompa Loompa. They just slammed his Oompa Loompa ass to the ground and said, "You're not going anywhere," and threw the entire timing off, and that's it. It was over. It was done. That was embarrassing, bro. Manhandled like that? That's embarrassing. So don't blame the referees. That's loser talk. Blame the Miami Dolphins. Okay? The franchise failed. Period. End of story. Yes, sir.
Let me ask you this, though, because on the flip side, there's probably every play in the NFL where at some point, if it was being, watched and every time they saw a foul, a flag would come out from anywhere, you'd probably have a flag on every play.
Oh, God, yes.
There's a hold almost every offensive snap, at least.
Pretty much.
And then it'd be the other way around, right? The referees I guess the same thing. The referees are getting the outcome of the game, but really it's the way football's played. You try to keep it away from the referee, try to hide it. Then, when guys roll off, then you see the hold, they throw the flag. But you could throw a flag almost every play.
Oh, there was a play that they called the penalty on us, but yet they were holding Justin Houston.
Yeah, it can go either way. It's like, do you want more flags or do you want...
both penalties were legit.
Yeah.
The one on the Dolphin and the one on the Chief. They just called the one on the Dolphin because I think it was roughing the quarterback or something like that, but if you look at the play, there's no doubt that Justin Houston was also being held too. It's just like, what are you going to do, man? They're human and they're going to screw up a whole bunch. Don't you screw up? Because I screw up a ton. Well, except for Sean. Sean's the only one. He's perfect.
That's right. Keep my name out your mouth.
Blame the Dolphins, man. Don't blame the referees. That's loser talk. NFL referees are not full-time employees. They work other jobs. Yeah, that which also doesn't help. You are correct, sir. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have here? As long as Finns cannot win in the cold weather or snuggly mighty versus physical teams, they are going nowhere. Too soft. Yeah. Well, look at Pat Mahomes. He hasn't won any road playoff games yet. They play all of them at home. This week will be the first time he plays on the road. Marino played all his playoff games pretty much at home, too.
Dumb question, just because I've never been to Buffalo.
And then once they had to go to Buffalo, Marino couldn't win either. Yeah, no, but it's just these Dolphins. This is the only team in the world that they should only play at home. It's not really like most teams should be playing at home because they don't have an advantage on the road. But that's all right. Whatever.
Is there a huge difference in the weather in Buffalo and Kansas City?
Lake wind.
The lake wind, okay. Yeah.
That's the only thing, because Kansas City, you're just not around the lake. But if you're in Cleveland and you're in Buffalo, you're in those kind of areas, and you've got that lake effect, that shit is brutal, bro. Because those bodies of waters are like oceans. Yeah, man. So it all builds up, and they get wicked storms coming off the lake. It is a real deal, man. So yes, it's definitely worse. No doubt about that. Okay. So anyway. All right, what else do we have to talk about? Let's get into our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Alan Blanco, great people, 3A Graphics, custom printing and embroidery last night. Raptors handed the Heat a 121-97 loss. Miami shot 45 from the field and 21% from three-point range. Toronto, 51% from the field and 52% from three-point range. After the first two quarters, it was just like, what am I watching, Anyway, Red Wings. Oh, by the way, the Heat will take on Atlanta's on Friday at 8 o'clock. The Red Wings, they defeated the Panthers 3-2, man, in overtime. Reinhardt, like I told you, with his 33rd goal of the season. Friday, they go wild, taking on Minnesota at 7 o'clock. And FSU handed Miami an 85-74 defeat. Omir did have a hell of a game, 15 points, 15 rebounds, and a block, but it wasn't good enough. Pack added 19. They got the Cuse at noon on Saturday on the road. They're at the Carrier Dome on the road to go play. The Cuse still plays in the Carrier Dome, right? I got to say, I can't imagine that place has been building its own arena, a new arena for the place. But the Carrier Dome has always been the home for the Cuse. So I don't know if it's still the Carrier Dome or is it something new? Is it, I guess Carrier has got to be the air conditioning company, right? That's why it's Carrier Dome and heating, obviously, in that area. So I don't know. Is it still the Carrier Dome for the Cuse? Or is it something else where Syracuse plays?
The JMA Wireless Dome.
Hey, new sponsor.
Yes.
Okay. Carrier out. JM, whatever the hell is in. JM Wireless. Okay. All right. Good for you guys out there. There you go. A little extra money coming in. I like it. All right. What else do we have going on in the world of deportes to talk about? You see that one thing that kind of was developing the last couple of days was Bill Belichick, right? And he's now going to his second interview with the Falcons. I think it'll be this weekend. He'll have a second interview with the Falcons, right? And he, a lot of people thought maybe Dallas, right? And to me, Dallas never, ever made any sense whatsoever. Okay? Jerry wants a puppet. And he tried to have real coaches years ago, and Jimmy left and Bill Parcells left. And since then, he's had personalities that he can control. So I know there was a lot of silliness out there talking about Belichick to the Cowboys, which I don't know why you would ever think that would be the case, because let me ask you something. Do you think Bill Belichick is going to tolerate Jerry Jones doing his own press conferences? That's the reason why a Cowboy coach will never have the respect ever in a Cowboys locker room, because the press conference that counts is not the one from your head coach. It's the one from your owner every week, every day. And so he wants to run everything and run the show, and he wants the attention to himself. Bill Belichick would tell him, no, Jerry, I'm sorry, but no. There's only one voice when I'm coaching, and it's me. And that would Jerry would be like, oh, you're going to take away my spotlight? He's a camera whore. He's an attention whore. It's what Jerry Jones has been his entire life, dude. And so as he continues to undercut all of his head coaches, because that's what you do in those press conferences, when you give your opinions on what's going on, your opinions on the coach, your opinions on the quarterback, your opinions on who you think will or will not play, which you have no business doing any of that stuff. That's the head coach that is supposed to address all of those things. There should be one. What does Pat Riley ever get in the way of Eric Spoelstra? Ever? No. And Pat Riley has way more credibility, cachet, credentials, experience, proving it. And he could cock block, spo all he wanted to. And nobody could say anything because that's the goddamn Godfather. And the Godfather doesn't ever talk. He talks at the end of the season and sometime in the draft. That's it. He gives you the state of the team like a president should, and then he addresses the draft. And that's it, because he's there with the scouting staff. That's not a head coach thing. That's the scouting staff. That's cool. You're not going to bring on any of the scouts. You bring on Pat to talk about it. Makes all the sense in the world, bro. Not a problem. Pat Riley does it like everything they do in the damn Heat organization. Professional. First class, doing it right. Are they going to make mistakes? Yeah, they're going to make mistakes because they're human beings also. But overall, when it comes to this kind of stuff, they do this perfectly. They might screw up in a trade and sign a free agent and bring in Kyle Lowry and Whiteside. Yeah, I can find those kind of stupid mistakes. But the other mistakes, the way you run a franchise, the way you hire people, what you do with them, you let them do their thing, nobody's better than the Miami Heat. Nobody. That's how Dallas is supposed to run their team. You'll never, ever get a real coach to go there because a real coach that can stand on their own is not going to go there and get neutered. And so if you think Belichick is going to deal with the buffoonery of Jerry Jones, you're out of your mind, dude. You really have not watched Bill Belichick. And you really don't understand what Jerry Jones is all about. He has to have, it's more important for him to have his spotlight than his team be at its best. Okay? Jerry Jones will probably die, okay, if he's not front and center for the Cowboys. He lives for that whoreness. Okay? All right? Jerry does Dallas. Not Debbie, Jerry. Jerry wants to be in the middle of that orgy, and he wants to take on all comers. Okay. Lisa Rose actually had JMA wireless. Only a person that lives in Rochester is going to know that. That's awesome, Lisa. That's funny, too.
A little hurricane story here.
Oh, look out.
Miami tight end Cam McCormick.
Okay.
He's returning for his 9th collegiate season.
Wow.
They put it in the contrast. When he committed, Marcus Mariota had just won the Heisman a few months earlier. Jim Harbaugh was about to begin his first season as head coach at Michigan.
So this guy did his years of eligibility separate in different times or something?
No, he kept getting injured. He broke an ankle, and then so they kept giving him, I guess, the medical. He played with Mario Cristobal in Oregon. When he went to Oregon, he committed to actually Mark Helfrich.
And he
was forced out after his freshman year. He got injured, and then after his freshman year,
he broke a beak.
They broke a beak. Oregon's has had Willie Taggart, Mario Cristobal, and Dan Lanning as their coach since he's been playing college football.
Wow, that's my kind of college right there, bro.
It's crazy.
9 years to get your degree, party for 9 years.
Oh no, he's already on. He's on his third session of undergraduates.
He should have like a 3 masters.
They said he's getting so much college education.
He should be the smartest guy in the world.
Lincoln Riley had just left East Carolina to go to be an offensive coordinator at Oklahoma.
Wow. There isn't a book he hasn't read in the library.
No, there's not. Listen, Mark Richt was the head coach at Georgia. Kirby Smart was the defensive coordinator at Alabama. On that same Tide coaching staff, offensive coordinator Lane Kiffin, O-line coach Mario Cristobal, wide receivers coach Billy Napier, defensive back coach Mel Tucker, current Oregon coach Dan Lanning was a graduate assistant.
How was Mel doing with the ladies there?
I don't know.
Anyway.
This is the best one. Jim McElwain had just gotten hired at Florida.
Wow.
And they jumped the shark.
That is awesome. Anyway, all right. Miles Deep is in the house. What'd you say?
How is it he got 9 years, but then because Talia played one extra game because of injury. Actually, no, he played two snaps or something like that?
5 games, and then there was 4 snaps in one of those
One of those games. And he can't get a thing, but this guy's got 9 years of college.
Well, because he probably didn't play. He probably kept getting injured in the offseason or something and didn't play in the season. You know what I mean? So, Brett loved the porno reference. Mike likes the Cure shirt. Thank you, sir. Bitcoin bouncing back. Who would have thought? Looks like a nice V-shaped recovery. Oh, God, yes. We got to get through the grayscale outflows. Okay? Once everyone is done taking out their Bitcoin from the Bitcoin holdings of grayscale, and then they're cashing in and then reverting it into the ETFs, then you're going to see a reversal. It'll probably take another week or two, and then you'll start seeing a climb up. But, just all I would tell you is I'm not a financial advisor, but, man, take advantage because you're going to regret it if you don't. Okay? All right. Yeah, that I would never leave college personally. 9 years, that for me is right there. I'm just loving life at that point. Anyway, how about a Dolphin option for this offseason? Somebody's going to hit free agency that I don't think is going to end up completely breaking the bank, because at that position, you don't break the bank. At that position, you just try to get as much money as you can. And this is a player that I think there are 2 things that will happen this offseason. I mean, there's one thing I know that will definitely happen this offseason. Okay? The Dolphins will find themselves a tight end. Okay? Bank on it. I've been telling you this now for a few weeks. Bank on it. This offense is desperately missing a playmaking tight end. It is an ingredient that they need. So now the other ingredient that I would add is a running back. And so one of the things that I like is Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry is a guy that is going to be hitting free agency soon. And he's talked about returning to Tennessee, and he says it's not closed, but I feel like they're going in a different direction. I feel like with the Vrabel firing definitely solidified that, and that's okay. That's the nature of business. We want something to last forever. Nothing does, especially in this business. I love how he addressed all this. I'll always be a Titan, even if I don't come back. At the end of the day, I want to win a Super Bowl. Whatever that is that gives me the best chance, that's what I want to do. I don't have no bad blood or feel no type of way. If I'm not back. It's just what's supposed to happen. The story's already written. We're all just living it. And I got to tell you something. He has a great attitude about this, because if anybody has not been truly appreciated in Tennessee on the NFL level, I'm not saying in Tennessee, I'm sure they appreciate, they love him, but it's that guy. Because that's the guy that really has carried that franchise, and he goes, I want to be somewhere, whatever happens, that gives me the best shot of winning the Super Bowl. The business side is the business side. At the end of the day, it has to make sense. I'm not just going to accept anything at the same time, because it's a long season. We put our bodies through a lot, and at the same time, I definitely want to be on a roster that can go out there and put themselves in a position and be able to win games and get in the playoffs and contend for a ring. And for me, if I'm the Miami Dolphins, this is one of the guys that I am going to target. Why? Durability. The man can punish people. And I'm going to give you something that I think people have not picked up on enough. You have, if you listen to this show enough, because we've gone over it, and I've enlightened folks on it at times, and that's Derrick Henry's receiving yards. And so Derrick Henry has kind of improved his receiving skills. Last 2 years, 398 and 214 yards. Okay. This is a guy that averaged 12.1 yards per catch last year and 7.6 this year. And he caught 33 and 28 balls the last 2 years. Let me explain. 13, 11, 15, 18, 19, 18. Those were his first years. So the last couple of years, he's at the 30 mark because he knew free agency was coming. And he was talking to him going, yo, I need you to throw me the ball more. I'm learning something about Derrick Henry that this dude gets it, okay? He gets it. And so he can catch the ball, and he can punish. And in this offense, okay, I think you need something that will convince Mike McDaniel to continue to run the ball. And Derrick Henry will continue to run the ball, and he can punish. And Mostert isn't going to ask for the world. So if you want a 1-2 punch that would really rock your world, Derrick Henry and Raheem Mostert would be something that I would go after. And I don't think that Derrick Henry in this offense, can you imagine that? I'm just saying. And he still can run. If there's a target in free agency, and they're not going to have a ton of flexibility, they will have flexibility more than what the media is telling you, by the way. They have options to move. And there are things that are going to happen that I think a lot of the media so far has not picked up on. Okay? Because one of them, I've mentioned it, and I'll mention it later. I'll give you when I drop some nuggets that I got yesterday from the building. But one of them is some of the people in the media aren't convinced about this move. I've already been convinced, and I got more information on it. We'll share it later. But Derrick Henry is the guy that I would like to go after to take this running game and add another dimension to it. Okay? The power, the punishment, the late game things, the drives that you want to keep alive. This is the guy that you want to keep this stuff alive with. And Mostert playing off of him, you can keep him fresher. Because instead of giving him 18 and 19 carries, let's give Mostert 10 or 12 and keep him fresher. And let's punish people with Derrick Henry. And when you do that, the passing game now becomes, and if you add the tight end and you add Derrick Henry, I think the balance that this offense desperately needs comes. Hour number 2 is next. David Furones and our Welt and Rheum Miami Dolphins report is next.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. Property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane. Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646. The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
All rise, football fans, as the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins report with David Furones is in session.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They are committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. Here's Miami Dolphins insider David Furones.
All right. There he is, ready to go. How you feeling, my man? Feeling good?
Feeling good. Feeling a little bit refreshed after the travel back was rough and being in those cold temperatures. So took a couple days, caught up on some sleep, and I'm feeling pretty good now. Ready for the offseason.
No frostbite, no fingers or toes fell off or anything like that? You good?
No. I was in a warm press box, and then it's minimal time that I have to spend outside in those sub-zero temperatures. But I did experience the coldest I ever have. It got down to 10 below when I was returning the rental car the next morning after or before the sun came up. So it was 10 below with wind chill. I mean, it had to be like below 30. So getting out of the car and then walking up to where the shuttle is was about the coldest it ever got. But even with gloves on, man, that thing freezes your hands. That was the biggest thing. That's where I felt it the most.
Yeah, I could imagine, bro. I mean, man, that's some cold stuff, dude. That was wicked ass weather there, and let's hope that they can avoid that next year somehow. Like by winning enough games and staying home. Something that Pat Mahomes is playing his first road playoff game this weekend.
Right. In conditions that he's used to anyway. So, but Dolphins are not used to these conditions. And Tua had that 0-4 record in below 40 temperatures, let alone sub-zero. And the Dolphins hadn't even faced below 40 temperatures all season. So it's a drastic difference going into that for a playoff game. I mean, honestly, I felt for all players, my hands were freezing. You hear me? Can't hear it. Big O, I see you on mute.
What happens if you connect a wire? Oh, there we go. Okay. How about now? You guys got me?
I hear you. You hear me?
If you got me, then they got me now. So
All right.
there we go. Okay, so you were saying about the cold weather in Tua.
Oh, well, I was just saying what I experienced, and I couldn't imagine playing a football game in those temperatures and playing without gloves. But I know the players get Vaseline all up on their arms and everything. So, hey, Tyreek Hill still caught that touchdown. Players survived it, but I definitely feel for them from what I experienced.
I'm with you there. All right, so obviously you look at the off season now. What are you expecting the Dolphins to do?
Boy, that's a loaded question.
Are you expecting any changes anywhere?
Wholesale changes? I think not. I think it'll be some tweaks. I think the Dolphins kind of they're committed to this plan right now. So it's a big deal about whether you'll bring back Wilkins, what they do with Tua. I think with Tua, you do let that fifth-year option play out, and then you take it from there. Now, if he has a great season, it could become more expensive for you afterwards. But just do you really want to commit yourself when you do have this window and you have the quarterback that you've been grooming up to this point, and then you could also franchise tag him after that. So I felt like it was leaning toward an extension the way the season was going, but then the way the season ended, it left a lot to be desired. Still questions remain about him competing at the highest level against the top teams, him handling pressure, the cold temperatures, which if you're going to win a big playoff game on the road, you're going to have to face those type of conditions in January on the road against northern teams in the AFC. But aside from that, I'm not too worried about, let's say, like that $41 million over the cap figure, because the Dolphins can do a lot. I was running through numbers earlier, and just by restructuring Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey, and Bradley Chubb, converting the base salary into bonuses, then they already get back into the positive off those three alone. And then that doesn't even account for you can move on from Emmanuel Ogbah if you do a post June 1 cut on Xavier Howard, all those kind of things. So there's still plenty of flexibility for the Dolphins.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I've been telling everybody that, because there was too much FUD out there, fear, uncertainty, and doubt put in by the media. All these cap problems. And I've been telling them for months now, there are no cap problems.
Now, eventually it catches up to you.
Yeah. I know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I know that. Don't tell me that. Omar just learned that now. He's finally learning that the cap is real. So I know that the cap is real, but I know you can play with it for a little bit more. As I've told everybody, you have 2 years left to play with the cap. And then in 3 years, hell will freeze over and you will not have the same flexibility. So you have the 24 and the 25 season. After that, I think it starts to get a little hairy, for the Dolphins, because they've hit on too many players and they're going to have to pay too many players. But the good thing is, like you just mentioned right now, there are several salaries that they can get out of going into next season. So they'll have plenty of opportunities to kind of get that down. Okay, so you're not expecting a Tua extension?
See, based on Chris Greer's answer, I'm not sure. See, I'm telling you what I would do. Chris Greer's answer, expecting him to play for the long term at a high level, he kind of left himself open to either or. He's never going to speak in absolutes.
He never does.
I feel like they might end up just giving him a modest offer, like in the lower 40s, and then saying, hey, look, because Daniel Jones got $40 million a year. I know that was made that offseason. That might have been a number that the team was targeting. And then at some point this season, he was probably outplaying it. And then he was staying healthy, where you're looking at all the quarterbacks that got over 50. You're not going to pay him like that. But if you give him a modest offer, and Tua is such a team guy that if he does indeed say, if he puts his money where his mouth is as far as not being a me guy, being a team guy, and says, okay, that I could accept for long term if it allows us, everything is explained to him as far as the benefits of what the team could do flexibility wise with the salary cap. And if he wants to take it, then great. But if he feels, no, I mean, I see what certain quarterbacks are getting paid and I want to be paid like them, even if it's not the Jalen Hurts contract, the Joe Burrow, the Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson that are over 50 per year, even if it's a tier below that and he feels he deserves more, then maybe he does turn that down. And then you say, all right, well, this is what we're comfortable with. And if you are not seeing it the same way, then we'll play out the fifth-year option. We could take it to a franchise tag the following season, and then we'll go from there. Maybe you earn that extension going forward, but right now we don't want to commit. That's what I would do. Greer, maybe he wants to make that modest offer first.
Okay, what do you think will happen? What's your gut tell you?
I would say there's that modest offer and first, and maybe Tua does take it. Maybe, if he's truthful as far as just how team first he is, every answer, it's like whenever you ask him about what he did, then he's always like, oh, well, the team did this and that. So if that's truly his mindset, then, he'll take a fair deal. That's what he has earned to this point. Maybe not that extra that everyone else is getting. And then he'll say, okay, that's what I want for this team to be able to succeed.
Okay. All right. That's interesting. Before you came on, I was making a case for making a move for Derrick Henry. I think you need to add a little more oomph to this running game and a little more power to this running game. I think you could get him for a 2-year deal. I don't think you're gonna be locked into signing him for a 5. I don't think you're gonna have to overpay him either. Because I think most people won't be overpaying for backs as it is, because they don't. But I think he would add a element, and as I've pointed out, he purposely the last 2 years actually caught more passes, and I think he wanted to do that to kind of show people, because he knew he was leaving. He wanted to show people that he could catch the ball too, and so I think that's also important. If you're the Dolphins, would you go after a guy like Derrick Henry?
Yeah, and before I came on, one point I heard you making that I'm in agreement with is that if it convinces Mike McDaniel to stick to the run, and especially with Derrick Henry, if it convinces Mike McDaniel to stick to the run in short yardage situations, because he's a power back and he can really handle those specific scenarios. So clearly Mike McDaniel didn't trust the Mostert Achane combination in those type of scenarios enough.
Well, they're more finesse. They're finesse guys. They're not really power guys, Right. So, that way you have a 4. Like Jeff Wilson doesn't come back in this scenario, obviously, but now you have a 4.
You need someone to go.
Yeah, you have Henry and Brooks backing Henry, and then you have Mostert and Achane, and so you have those 4, and then you can, keep a 5th back, whatever, another developmental back or something that you find in the draft or something like that. That's what I would do, actually. That's the way I would run it.
Yeah, it becomes a crowded backfield for sure. I mean, because you got to get Achane his touches. Mostert just had a career year, but it also preserves all of them too, because they dealt with, when Mostert has historically dealt with injuries. He did at the end of the season. He was as healthy as he has been for most of the year, but then missed the 2 games, was hobbled going into the playoff game. Achane missed time, so you minimize how much toll you're putting on each one of them. You have a bit of a 3-headed monster, then that's pretty beneficial for this offense.
Yeah, I personally, for me, I think it would be an absolute home run to add Derrick Henry to this offense, and it would really take it to the next level. Vic Fangio, your thoughts on Fangio's future with the Miami Dolphins?
Yeah. Now, are you thinking from McDaniel's perspective or his perspective?
I'm thinking about his perspective. Yeah,
his perspective. If you would want to come back, now,
there's a lot of money on the table for him to walk away. So.
It is, and he's 65, and I feel like Jalen Ramsey, probably from what he was voicing to us in the media, was probably giving him a hard time over wanting to shadow guys, and I could understand if Fangio was saying, I don't need to deal with this shit. Like I am who I am, and I've coached this many years. Let me call the defense, and then just stick to your assignment. Now I would like to see him be more flexible. We did see him do that with Garrett Wilson, but as far as just not always sticking to his guns. Now, we saw him blitz more when he had to, when he didn't have his edge rushers in that playoff game. But I think he'll take some time, and then he'll make a decision. I feel just knowing that this defense has a lot of potential and this team has potential to go all the way going into next year. I think after some time off, then he'll certainly just decide to come back. It's a big opportunity to win a ring late in a career, and he's got the pieces in place. He's going to need to get Jalen Phillips off the rehab, Bradley Chubb off the rehab.
That's the problem, dude. He doesn't have Phillips and Chubb.
He'll add them mid-season. So
and they won't be themselves. We also have to. Well, we're doing something very dangerous here. Okay, just because Chubb and Phillips are coming back at some point next year, halfway or 3/4 of the way, let's make sure we realize that you're not getting the player back. You're getting a guy that still has to rehab and become the player he was. None of these guys coming off knee injuries are the guy that left. So Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb will not be themselves in the 2024 season. At no point will you recognize those guys. So even next year, whenever you do get them, you're really not getting back the real Chubb and the real Phillips until 2025 probably.
Yeah, and Andrew Van Ginkel is going to be such a priority. Because of that, you're going to need him to carry a lot of that pass rush load, and you're going to need someone else too. You're going to need someone opposite him for the time being. That then those guys will be rotational once you do get whichever one comes first. Chubb with the ACL was a month after Phillips, so I think that would probably put him on a slightly quicker timeline. But it's going to be some weeks to get through. And you hope it's not too tough of an early season schedule. The good thing for the Dolphins is you have a great home field advantage early in the season. So maybe that lifts the defense through that early portion and a second year under Fangio, things like that. Interior pressure, if it's Zach Sealer, you already know is coming back. If you do have Christian Wilkins coming back, if that could sort of supplement what you're going to be missing, and then it'll be a boost, maybe not a huge boost if they're not themselves coming back initially, but yeah, they are coming back from longer rehabs than, say, Jalen Ramsey, who pretty quickly turned into a version of himself mid to late portions of last season.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. He definitely looked good this year. Hopefully we can keep him healthy for the entire 2024 season, and that'll be a lot of fun watching that guy play a whole season. I was going to ask you, what was I going to ask you before I let you go here? Damn it! Now it slipped my mind that I was going to ask you something. McDaniel,
It happens to me all the time in press conferences too.
Yeah. Do you expect McDaniel to maintain play calling?
Ooh. Well, so I asked this question actually at his end of season news conference. He did say everything is on the table, said everything is fair right now. It'll be interesting because Frank Smith, his offensive coordinator right now, is getting some head coach looks, Carolina Panthers, Seattle Seahawks. If he doesn't land any of those jobs, then that could be a nice incentive for him. Right. Yeah.
He ain't landing any job, but it's good experience for him.
Yes.
To go through all of this. God bless him for that. But he has not developed a resume that somebody's going to give him a head coaching job. Not yet. Not yet.
Right.
He has to run the offense and kind of show that. You know what I mean? And so that's the question. Does he hand it over to Frank Smith?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, where then that could be a nice incentive for him. All right, so we see you're getting some of these looks. Here's something that we can add on to your plate, and then from McDaniel allows him to oversee the whole operation. He was surprisingly more open to it when he answered the question than I expected him to be. So that's a good sign to see from McDaniel, that he's able to look himself in the mirror. And I wonder if that also came from higher ups coming to him and saying, hey, what's the deal with the play calling? We see it from up there. You need to either make some tweaks or figure something out. And then maybe that it does end up being the move for McDaniel to allow him to delegate those duties to Frank Smith, who I think can more than handle them, and then allow Frank Smith to be a first-time play caller. Mike McDaniel was a first-time play caller coming in as head coach, because that year as OC with the 49ers, it was Kyle Shanahan, of course, calling plays there. So he tried to do it the same way Kyle Shanahan did. And maybe he looks at himself and says, okay, well, I am not running it the same way that Kyle did over there. Let's do it a little differently, and let's see how Frank Smith can do taking a shot at it.
Guaranteed players who are gone.
Guaranteed players who are gone. So, like, I'm leaning toward X being out of there. I know they could save. It's $18.5 million toward the cap if it's post June 1. So that's an option, and he seems to see it that way from his final interview on Locker Cleanout Day. Emmanuel Ogbah is on that void year. He is easily easy choice right there to clear up some room. So that's where I start. Anyone else that you're looking at or thinking about?
You tell me. There's nobody else you think that will be at risk at all? You think Jeff Wilson? You think Jeff Wilson comes back?
Well, yeah. If you get another running back, if like let's say something develops with Derrick Henry, who I saw this interview where he was saying that in the draft he wanted to go to Miami, so that's an interesting nugget to take into the offseason. So, yeah, if a certain position group like running back gets crowded, then that's something I could see for sure.
Okay, Connor Williams, Rob Hunt, Wilkins. You tell me.
Well, Connor Williams is a free agent. Connor Williams is straight up a free agent. So, and he's coming off the knee injury. So that's a very intriguing one.
Are you expecting him back, or do you think he's gone?
Well, I think you can get him at a cheaper rate than you would have based on this injury. So, especially with how well he was playing at center and, at times getting those snaps under control, and then just all the other aspects of center were really good. Then even if he's one of those guys that does end up having to leak into the season as far as his rehab, and you probably get him at a discount because that happened. So that would be a plus. And I think Rob Hunt is such a valuable right guard for this offensive line, especially as Teron Armstead ages, the questions with Connor Williams. It would be really beneficial to the Dolphins to lock him up long term. So I think that is someone that you do want to make sure you give what he wants, but reasonable, of course. But even Armstead said he sees Hunt as on track to becoming the best guard in the league. And I don't know if it's going to go that far, but some high praise for him.
Yeah, I would. I expect Hunt back. You expect Wilkins back?
Wilkins seems iffy to me. If you saw that last Hard Knocks episode, his words kind of were like, "Hey, you guys carry this into the offseason for motivation." Almost like, "Wait, how come not everybody? How come just you guys? You're not including yourself in that?" So, yeah, it seems like he's very committed to a number, and the Dolphins felt that they offered him something reasonable that he maybe scoffed at a little bit. And he did prove that he could bring in the interior pass rush. Now, does the Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb do those injuries incline the Dolphins to say, okay, we need to keep this combination of him and Sealer together because we need the pass rush to come from somewhere if we're going to have replacement level edge rushers until those guys are back, Andrew Van Ginkel being one of them who is above a replacement level edge rusher. So very good to have him, but you're going to need that pass rush to come from somewhere. So if Wilkins had the 9 sacks last year, Sealer got into double digits, then that's a starting point for sure. It may incline the Dolphins to go ahead and lean a little bit more, especially with this window. You don't want to decrease somewhere where you're already strong as you're really trying to win now. So I could see that happening.
Okay. All right. What do you got going on in the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out, my brother?
Yeah, just covering the offseason right now. A little bit of time off, but I just posted yesterday Cam Smith story. So if X is indeed gone, as we've spoken about here and as we've written, then could Cam Smith be an option? He did not show up in his rookie year. So now a key offseason for him in development if indeed he can rise to the occasion and be that kind of guy in Vic Fangio's defense. And then I've got some interviews saved up with a few different guys, maybe lower on the roster players. I'll probably come out with a feature on Anthony Schwartz. I spoke to him, the local kid who was on the practice squad, coming back on a futures contract. So, he really enjoyed his time about midseason, coming back to play for his hometown team. And just looking toward his future. A guy who has played in the NFL, been on the practice squad now, and a speedster too, world-class track speed too, out of American heritage. So
you should do a story on Tanner Connor.
Yeah, I mean,
that guy's going on his third year, not doing a goddamn thing for this team, and he is stealing more money without a gun and a mask than anybody else out there. Okay, there was a corner that was on the Dolphins roster for like 3 years, Jeff something, several years back, and he just kept making it on the roster, and just like him, like a practice squad, like never played. And it was 3 years that the guy just made money. Tanner Connor either has naked pictures of somebody in that organization, because that dude is about to get another free ride for a third straight year. He's my hero, David. He's my hero. Okay?
Well,
he gets to
I'm
hang
sure
around the track and do nothing for 3 years. Just watch everybody else and get paid for it. Tanner Connor is top-notch thievery.
Well, I'm sure from Tanner's perspective, it was a bummer for him not to make the active roster after he did his rookie season as an undrafted guy, and then Julian Hill took his spot after Tanner Connor had to deal with an injury, get back into things, and Julian Hill emerged from all that. So on some level, I believe it had to be a bummer for him to be bumped down to practice squad after making the initial 53 as a rookie.
Right. I don't know, man. He's my hero, bro. That guy is just the man. Period. I mean, he's like that guy that just got a 9th year of college eligibility already. I mean, that's Tanner Connor in the NFL. That is freaking awesome. All right, follow him on Twitter at David Furones _. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. David, as always, thank you, my brother. Have a terrific day. We will catch up down the line.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There you go. The great David Furones. He'll be back on Tuesday. It'll be Monday and Thursdays now for my man David Furones, since we don't have games anymore. And by the way, of course, our friends at Welt and Rail, make sure you call them 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. And let me tell you, you might not need a lawyer right now, but if some kind of damage comes to your condo, home, whatever, here in South Florida, reach out to the people at Welton Rail. And by the way, they also have offices in the Keys. So the office is in Hollywood for South Florida, and also the Keys. One of our listeners in Orlando hired Welton Rail. So they hire them from all over the place, and we thank you for using the sponsors that are great sponsors and support our platform. It's very important you support our great sponsors, because we will not be around if we don't have the sponsors. So make sure you call them 954-966-4646.
This has been another session of the Welton Rayom Miami Dolphins Report with David Furones. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
All right. Let's see. All right. Who the hell is Tanner Connor? Exactly. So, let's get into some stuff. Dolphins wise. Let's get into a couple things that we were able to unearth over the last couple of days. And I will tell you this, a couple things, first of all, to kind of get you guys going. Tua is not going anywhere, okay? So those of you that want to cut Tua, trade Tua, whatever it is, I don't really care. Deal with it. It is what it is. You can complain all you want. He's not going anywhere. And expect a new contract, okay? So there will be a contract. There will be a long-term contract. They will open up the cap space this year out of his fifth-year option, and so expect that to happen. Whether you like it or not, that's going to be the case. Mike McDaniel not getting fired. You're not bringing in any other coach or anything like that. So if you want to also think about that, that's not going to happen. I don't believe, okay, I have not been able to confirm this, but from what I've been able to unearth, okay, there'll be he's going to call the plays next year. Okay. He will be the play caller once again. Okay. From everything I'm hearing, that's kind of the case. The Fangio stuff, they're kind of taking care of everything with the players all throughout this week and weekend, I think. And then next week, they meet with the coaches. So they really have not met with Fangio yet. And to find out where he is, so if he's coming back or not, I cannot confirm that. I can't tell you that he is, and I can't tell you that he isn't. Okay? That I'm not exactly sure. I wasn't able to unearth that information. It's hard to kind of really read. They can't even reach the old man. You know what I'm saying? So the old man's going to do what he wants to do at his own pace. So it is that. Okay? So don't expect Greer to go anywhere. Don't expect McDaniel to go anywhere. Don't expect Tua to go anywhere. And expect Tua to get his contract extension. Okay? That's all going to happen. All right? And then we move on to some of the things. We told you X would be released 2 years ago. 2 years ago, we told you that Byron Jones will be released last offseason and that X will be released in 2 years. Okay? Time's up. It'll happen. Just like David said, post-June, that kind of stuff. So I don't expect him to come back. I do expect Rob Hunt to be signed. I do expect Connor Williams to come back also. Okay? There's a lot of love in that building and a lot of respect for Connor Williams. Just like there's a lot of love and a lot of respect for Liam Eichenberg. Okay? They like Liam Eichenberg in that building. And they feel like he played well, considering he was all screwed up and playing with one leg, basically. They thought he actually did a really good job in the worst scenario possible because he was banged up. So I expect those guys to come back. I expect the offensive linemen to come back. I really do. I think there'll be some negotiations going on with Holland. Okay? I think that you'll see Holland either get his contract or somehow start playing on it, but kind of they're in the middle of the negotiations and in the season or whatever. But I think they're going to do whatever it takes to get Holland signed. They like him. Now, safeties are a little tricky because you can't have a safety get too crazy on you salary-wise. But the safety salaries aren't normally that crazy as it is. So I expect Holland to get his contract one way or another, but eventually he will be here. His future is here. They like him a lot. As for Christian Wilkins, as I told you before, and I pretty much read the room the right way, what I've been telling you for a while now, I pretty much confirmed it this week. He's not going to be back. Okay? And there'll be no tag because I've heard other people either write or talk about it that they'll tag Wilkins. There will be no tag. Listen to me. There will be no tag. There will be no tag for Christian Wilkins. Are we clear on that? Okay? They have so many things that they have to take care of. Tags are not going to be part of the mix this offseason. Do you know why? Because that's a hard cap number. And you can't play with that number. So you can't all of a sudden guarantee 50, 75% of it and push it back because there's nothing to push back. You have to, if it's a 9, an 11, a $25 million number, it's locked in. And because they have to pay some of these people that I just talked about, okay, they're not going to be able to also throw a tag out there at the same time. And especially for a defensive tackle. Last year, they made Christian Wilkins a fair deal, they felt. Their final deal, they felt, was a fair deal. and yet they wanted more. Okay? And so, if you want Quinnen Williams type money, they're not going to pay you Quinnen Williams type money. And to be completely honest, as I've mentioned, I'm being consistent. Have I not been consistent when I say this? I know you're already nodding, but I haven't said it yet. But he didn't come up big in most of all the big games except one, Buffalo, that he made the one play. All the other sacks came against all the bad teams. He disappeared in the Kansas City game, in both Kansas City games. Okay. He disappeared in the earlier Buffalo game. He disappeared in the Philly game. He wasn't a factor in any of the big games. I don't see the Miami Dolphins giving Christian Wilkins the kind of money that it's more than double of what they're paying Zach Sealer. I just don't see it. So that's free money, because that was a $20 million tag that he played on this year. That ain't going to happen anymore. So that's $20 million that you're freeing up. X, you're freeing up a bunch of money. Agba, you're freeing up a bunch of money. And then Tua, you're freeing up a bunch of money. And then if you want to rework any of the other ones, the Armstead one would be one that I don't rework. Okay? Because he's already contemplating retirement. You don't want to push any more money back. You kind of want to let this ride as it is so you can get out. I believe the Armstead one, I think you're 2 years out from the window to get out from him. I believe, because of the money you guaranteed earlier with him, I think it would have been next year, but I think now it's been pushed. Maybe you can look it up for me, but it's been pushed back 2 more years where you can get out, and the dead cap money is not nearly as bad. So at least you have a little bit more flexibility. Okay. Some of the things also, Mike McDaniel is very well aware of his mistakes. Potential out at 2025. Okay, so actually it's after the 2024 season they will have an out. I thought it was the 2025 season. My bad. So even better. So that's why you don't guarantee this year anything, because then you would delay that and you would make that dead cap number even worse. So after next season, you can get out of Teron Armstead. I think either he retires and doesn't take the money and then you get the break, or he plays out one more year and then you can then move off from that contract. But I think you've got Teron Armstead, now that I saw that, you've got him at least on the roster for one more year, and then you're going to get out. Kendall Lamb will be a guy you have to bring back, by the way. You have to bring back Kendall Lamb. Big time. That's why I'm telling you they're going to need the money. And so the Wilkins thing, they're going to have to draft another defensive tackle is what they're going to have to do. And they're going to have to try to find another one. They found Sealand. They found Wilkins. They got to go find another young tackle. And that first-round pick at 21 will either be a defensive tackle, an offensive lineman, tackle, at 21, he's got to be a superstar stud guard. Although you might want to come back with the guards you have, plus Isaiah Wynn was actually playing all right before he got injured. But it'll either be a D lineman, an O lineman. It will not be a tight end, because from what I've looked at now, there's no tight end at that spot. The Brock Bowers kid is going to go earlier. The Georgia kid will go like in the top 10, top 12. He's not going to last to 21. And there's no other first-round tight end. So it's not going to be a tight end. It'll be a D lineman. It'll be an O lineman. Or if there's a really special linebacker, again, it's got to be a really special linebacker to take him at number 21, So that, to me, is some of the things. Now, the McDaniel stuff. McDaniel knows the criticism. And he's also very critical of himself. Okay? And in fact, from what I'm hearing, you remember how I talked about that play 2 weeks ago that Tyreek didn't catch the ball, that clearly the point hit, but the replay wasn't there, and they weren't rushing to the line to try to get the snap off and don't let the coach challenge, right? He took that really hard, from what I'm told. And so he's he's been very self-critical, okay, of himself and things that are going on. That's what I'm told. Now, see, here's my problem with all of that. When I'm told that by a couple of people, then I tell them, okay, he told me he was going to commit to the run and stay with it, and then he didn't. And he continued to, at times, abandon the run. You know what I mean? So how do I know that he's okay? He's self-critical. He feels guilty. I get all of that, but are you really going to correct it? And that's kind of my counter to the people in the building was like, is he really going to correct? And they feel he is. They feel that, he takes this shit really seriously and that he knows that he's got to fix some of this stuff. We'll see. But it is, for those of you that might, because we've seen coaches that might act like, I don't care. I don't care what you guys think. And, whatever this, that. No, he's taking it to heart is what I'm told. So that is something that I like to hear. But again, I got to go by your track record. You told me you were going to do this and you apologized to Mostert. And yet there is a key game. And here's Mostert giving you 4 straight great runs. And you get to 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1. And you tell Mostert to go screw himself. And you just apologize to this man in the offseason because that's exactly what you did to him last year. So, I don't know to believe you or not. So I have to see you really correct it, and then I'll believe you, And so those are some of the things that I was able to unearth from the building, which I hope can help you guys understand a little bit about what's going on. And they will be able to easily open up all the cap space that they need to do anything that they want to do. So anything that the media told you, that cap hole is coming and all that, they have to get crafty, sure, but they can easily manage it. So anybody in the media that told you, oh my God, they're going to have trouble, no, they're not. They'll be fine this year, and I think they'll be fine again next year. It's 3 years from now that I really worry about, the credit card, then you have to. So you've got about 2 years left to really take advantage of this team and this run before you really got to pay the piper, and it's going to be a problem. Okay. But it'll be interesting. It'll be, see, the one thing I will tell you is I'm really excited about the offseason, believe it or not, because I do believe they have flexibility. And I talked to a couple of agents, friends of mine in the league. None of them have players on the team. Okay. I did that on purpose. I called guys that I know that don't have any players on the team. And so I said, hey, man, what's Miami look like to you? And he goes, man, I got guys that want to go there. And so there's buzz from every agent that I talk to pretty much. They understand the craziness that happened and how it finished. But they all like the vibe and they all want to play here. A lot of people. So you're going to have a nice buzz around the league from agents and players that are going to try to fit the Dolphins in their mix one way or another, even if a team is offering a little bit more money. But this place actually looks sexy to some people out there. So that was actually a cool thing, reaching out to some agents that don't have players here. I had one guy who was like, man, I can't believe they didn't do better and all that. And he goes, I love the team, but there's no doubt that they underachieved. And I couldn't argue with them. Personally for me, I think this season was a disaster. I don't care about the individual stats and all that. I need you to perform at a high level and start winning playoff games. I need you to start beating the Buffalo Bills on a consistent basis. I got some standards. They were set by Shula. So, the Dolphins of the last 25, 30 years have got a lot of catching up to reach to my standards. So let's hope they can fix it this offseason and get it back on track. All right. Steve Calebro is ready to go. There he is. You got him locked and loaded, Sean. All right. How you feeling, my man?
Oh, Big O, I want to thank you.
Why?
And your listeners, you should be listening to some advice.
What's that?
So I was betting the game this week. I'm going to tell you the game. I was betting the Pittsburgh game. I don't know why. I was bored. I was sitting at home. And so I said, I'm going to take 10 points into Pittsburgh, right? I'm sitting down. I had done some work in the morning. And my wife says, nah, watch the game. She cooked me something. I said, this is beautiful. I'm just going to sit down. I'm going to bet the game, make it more exciting. So I took the 10 points. Well, it got ugly pretty fast, right? But
then they came back. It was 24-17.
Then I remembered a little bit. I'm looking on the app. I'm looking on
the live score.
The live line is changing. It goes to 21.5. I bet the same bet. Now that's called chasing it. In my business, they call that's chasing it.
Right. Which
you're not supposed to do. Right. But I was chasing because I'm going to lose. Looks highly likely I'm going to lose. But I hearken back to Big O advice. So all the listeners should be taking this advice seriously. Steve Calebro, why did I bet the 10 points at the beginning of the game? Big O said, wait. I didn't wait. I got a little greedy.
Antsy.
I got antsy because I was all excited. I was sitting down, and I have a nice big TV. I'm the only guy. I'm going to digress here. I have ADHD, so I go all over the place. But anyhow, so I'm the only guy on the planet, I think. My wife, about a year ago, I love her dearly. She says, honey, I want to buy this piece of furniture. It's really big, but we're going to have to put a really big TV on it.
Oh,
she said, what's the biggest TV? I said, well, hon, I think there's an 85-inch available. She goes, yeah, I think we're going to need that. So I got to tell you, my wife is the reason why I have an 85-inch TV. It's a lot of reasons why I love her. That's one of them. Yeah. That's one of them, right? So
85 reasons why.
Yeah, it's Sony 85. I got to tell you, give you a little quick commercial for Sony. It's a beautiful TV. Bought it at BJ's for not too much. And so I'm looking at the game, 10 points. I got antsy. I bet the first bet, but because of Big O advice, I bet the 21.5, and I win the second bet.
We make money for people on this show, bro.
I just want to thank you.
That's all we do. We make money for you guys on this show. We're the only show in South Florida that makes money for you guys. We tell you about the loosest slots here in Hialeah. They give away cars all the time in Hialeah. You guys are making money over fists or whatever, fist over dollars or whatever in crypto. With all our great advice, you guys, man. And then, of course, the live betting.
The live betting was nice. Yeah. It was nice. Now I did bet another. I don't know. I'm not sure if this was a Big O advice, but maybe it was my heart and listening to Big O. So the Dolphins game this week, I wanted to have some action on it, but
told you about Tampa.
Don't even get to me. I'm going to get to that one. I'm going to get to that one. That one I screwed up because it was on a different network, and I went and I did something. Next thing you know, the game was starting, and the live line was changing, and I didn't bet the bet. And I was like, that was a logistical mistake by Steve Calebro.
That was
and the Jersey guy told me Tampa too. And he called me up like the next day. He goes, you won Tampa, right? I said, nah, I kind of screwed up. I was after the game, anyhow, in between games, I didn't switch network, and I went and I did something, and then it was too late. At least I felt it was too late. I probably could have still bet at 1. Actually, I would have still bet at 1, now that I think about it. But what I did bet was the Dolphins game. I didn't want to bet the Dolphins or the Bills, right? You don't want to bet against the Bills.
Right.
Actually, I went along with my stepson. My stepson said he likes to have action, right? So we bet the under.
Okay.
And we won.
Right.
We won the under. Now we won because our team sucked it up horrible in the second half. I mean, it was one of those not a really fun win to win. It was like I'd rather them score some points in the second half, which they've forgotten how to do in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, the offense has been
apparently the halftime speeches are really like one for the Gipper speeches.
Yeah, but they did right. I mean, the Steelers are, are you talking about the Bills game or
no? I'm talking about the Bills. No, I'm talking about
the Kansas City Miami game.
Yeah, Kansas City Miami game. Yeah. Kansas City Miami. I mean, what kind of halftime? No. What kind of adjustment occurred?
He doesn't really make a lot of adjustments.
Well, maybe he should change his ways.
Yeah,
he knows it. You know what I mean?
He knows it.
Yeah, I mean, I also believe, and I know that I've said this 1,000 times. I'm hesitant to say it again, but you need to go out and get a premier tight end. So you can get add some more dimension to that offense.
They will.
And so
I guarantee you they will get a playmaking tight end this year.
and we'll see. Now that's a pretty good segue. I was going to start.
I want a playmaking tight end, and I want him to sign Derrick Henry.
Wow, Derrick Henry.
Yeah, give me
What's
the one.
Derrick Henry going to cost? $15 million?
No, they don't pay that anymore. It'll probably be somewhere in the
9-10,
7 to 10 range.
Be interesting. That would be very interesting.
It won't be. It won't, and it'll be like a 2-year deal.
Yeah, I love that. I love both of those suggestions. I think both of them are needed. Both of them are needed, right?
It's two factors they need in the offense. You don't have power backs, so Mostert and Achane are speed guys.
Yeah.
So that's your lightning. Go get your thunder, bro. Go get your thunder. And by the way, he's caught 30 passes the last 2 years.
So
he's caught more passes because he wanted to prove to people, Derrick, that
he's
he can
got some
catch the ball.
versatility.
Yeah, because a lot of people, you've always really looked at him as a runner,
A monster coming into the middle.
Yeah, obviously. And so all that short yardage stuff, and that's the other thing. McDaniel now with him will probably stick more with the run because he'll go,
You're hoping.
I got a horse.
You're hoping. Yeah,
I got a horse.
I got the real horse now.
I got the horse. And so Florida, no tax state.
Yeah, come on down, Derrick.
Grass.
Yeah.
Come on down, dude.
There's a third thing we need. I like both of your first thing. I think we need another pass rusher that matters.
Yeah, no, of course.
Another pass rusher that matters. Not somebody that we're going to work on, for the next. We need some proven. I don't know if free agency is going to provide that.
Yeah, it's
going to be tough. It's going to be expensive.
You may have to try to find a guy that has been was a hell of a player and then has had a bad year or two and then fits your scheme and maybe was in a scheme that didn't. And so he's kind of down and he can't ask for the same kind of money and then comes in, revitalizes his career. And then because I don't think you'll have the money to sign all the guys you need to sign in the offseason. And then,
not gonna have it.
And then go out and be a big player in free agency. I think that's why you're only going to be able to make a couple moves, and you've got to make the right moves. Pass rusher might be something you get in the draft too.
Yeah, that's true.
They do have a first rounder and a second rounder.
Yeah, you could.
They don't have a third rounder thanks to our stinking owners because that's the second.
Stinking's the key word there.
Yeah.
I can tell you. Now, I was going to open up seeing you today with one of my favorite pastimes. One of my favorite pastimes is observing Philadelphia Eagle fans. Okay, it's just one of my things. I like it. I'm not saying I'm an Eagle fan. I'm an Eagle hater. Nothing. I kind of, I'm neutral to the Eagles, right? My son Steven is a hardcore Eagle fan, right?
Yeah, but most Eagle fans are in the zoo. So is that where you were at?
Well, yeah,
when they let them out of their cages, they can go to the arena.
Yeah, have you seen Philadelphia? It's one giant cage. But anyhow, so let me just read to you some of the comments. So, blowout. Okay, this is the headline. This is in Philadelphia. Blowout loss in wild card round. Quote: "Get this bum out of my city." This is journalism, right? That would be an example of journalism in Philadelphia, right? So now there's some comments. And they're reading the article, and people are reading saying comments. See ya. Here's one comment, right? Then he got then it says fire Nick Sirianni. Terrible coaching. Took 4 points off the board just to have a failed 2-point and a failed fourth down. Right. So now this guy's a little more in depth. All a trash coach that named him the trash coach. Nothing better than the signs in the stands saying "Fire Sirianni." These are the fans rooting for the people, right? So,
and they're all wrong.
I know.
You don't fire Sirianni.
I'm not saying to fire Sirianni.
No, I know.
I'm just observing the highly emotional and high-strung Philadelphia fans. I did not get a chance to listen to WIP, but I will try to listen to some pre-recordings.
A lot of fans aren't very bright.
That's putting it mildly.
Can't really, dodge it. But a lot of fans aren't necessarily bright. They get all fanatical.
They get so nuts. They get out of control. And so it was kind of interesting to see. Now, I do believe, and we talked about this, but I'm not sure if you're 100% on board. Maybe it's you're neutral to this, but Sirianni's meeting with the coach, with the owner, right? And I think Sirianni's going to throw his assistant coaches under the bus. That's what I think. That's just, one of those coordinators gets fired. That's what happened.
Yeah, unless you had a personal issue, I don't think that's a good idea. You let them trash your people, and then you fight for them, and then you let them go, and you understand what I'm saying?
That's the strategy. That's the management strategy. But I think Sirianni's I don't know if he's that sharp. I mean, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But I'm not talking about a football mind. I'm talking about now he's.
No, I get it.
Now he's in survival mode. Ownership. He's got to make a living.
Yeah,
blah,
but
blah,
it's silly. Just like the whole Tomlin stuff. Like,
oh yeah, that's just noise though. I mean,
what are you asking him for?
Yeah,
like it's like, really, dude. Like,
the guy's been there forever.
First of all, the Rooneys have never been a stupid organization as it is.
Pretty sharp group.
Okay,
Pretty sharp
they're
group.
Extremely sharp.
Yes.
So of course they were going to sign him and give him a long-term contract. That guy wasn't going anywhere.
Listen,
dude.
the stats pretty amazing.
And I mean, that guy overcomes everything.
He's never had a losing season in 17 years.
And he's had many losers at quarterback.
This year was no bargain.
Right.
This year was
he
no
does
bargain.
It all the time.
I don't know how he was 9-8 this year. I don't know how he was.
He got to the playoffs with a guy named Duck.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago.
Oh, yeah. No, but Mason Rudolph didn't play it down last year,
no.
And he had 3 wins. I mean, I don't know. So,
well, the best thing, it's funny like that. I was talking about this yesterday, that Dan Quinn and Raheem Morris, right, are now up for jobs again.
Give me a
right?
break.
Now,
Please give me a break.
No, but wait a minute. Hold on a second. Both guys were young coaches the first go-arounds. So now they've been able to kind of resurrect themselves. And so this happens sometimes with quarterbacks. Mason got a start early on. I wasn't a Mason believer, never was.
No.
But he played like crap when he first got out of Oklahoma State, and he was lost, and he was green. So you saw him now. He actually played better than he ever played earlier. And so you look at Jordan Love, and you say the benefits of actually sitting, something that we grew up, all of us, all three of us, we all grew up that the quarterback would get drafted, and he was not going to start. He had no shot in hell.
2-3 years, 4 years, maybe.
Easily. And so you now see what it did for Aaron Rodgers, what it's doing for Jordan Love, and then even to a certain extent, Mason Rudolph was just a jag, but he's a better player just because he sat for a couple of years and was able to process all of this
around the system, around the organization,
and learn other teams and learn other coaches and styles and all that, and watch film over and over again, and all those kind of things, the repetitiveness that you need in all of that to kind of get better. Because sometimes you give Raheem Morris or Dan Quinn a job when they're not ready for that job. Maybe they're ready for it now. What's it called? Pete Carroll was not ready for the job
for
with
the pro
Jets,
job. Yeah,
with the Jets and the Patriots.
Yeah.
Okay, then he had to go back. He went to San Francisco for 1 year. We just looked it up. And then he went to college, and then he came back and was ready for the NFL again. But he was immature with the choking stuff, with Olindo Mare. Was it Olindo Mare? Or was it Stoyanovich? No, it was Stoyo. I think it was Stoyo, actually. It was Stoyo, I think, right? Correct me out there. Anyway, so all that stuff, and he did some immature shit that he would never do nowadays. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, it's interesting how sometimes time can help some of these people, either players or coaches, become better. And sometimes we reach for that fruit just a little too soon, and we start peeling that banana, and we're going, "Oh, this shit tastes green."
This ain't ready yet.
No.
But listen, though, it's a tough. Just put yourself into a market when you're a fan. Pick one of the 31
and by
other
the way,
markets.
I'm leading to that because I'm also worried. Did we do this with McDaniel?
Yeah, well, next year.
Too
We're going to get
early.
to that. We're going to get to that with McCarthy and McDaniels. They're in not. Well, we'll get to it right now.
McCarthy's
no, but they're both in the hot seat.
No, they're not. McCarthy's already free.
No, they're in the hot seat next year at this time.
Oh, yeah.
They better win a playoff game.
Yeah.
McCarthy.
Yeah.
They have something in common. McCarthy and McDaniel.
Yeah.
They better win a playoff game next year,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
their job is.
Jerry will find another puppet.
If your name begins with MC, you got to win a playoff game next. Your last name, you got to win a playoff game. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I guess. Well, Jerry could change his mind, but let's assume that.
Jerry will just go find another puppet because that's what he wants.
That's why he's not going to. That's why he's not going to get rid of him, right? Because he has his puppet already. Doesn't need another puppet.
You think Belichick's going to put up with you having your press conference after
Not many
his?
guys are going to put up with that.
No, if you sign Belichick, he's going to go, Jerry, your press conferences are over.
Yeah,
There'll be no more press conferences for you. You want to talk at the end of the year to recap like a normal owner? That's fine. But outside of that, the only voice is mine, and Jerry would lose it.
Yeah,
it'd be over.
That's why McCarthy's saved. But next year, he loses a playoff game or doesn't make it to the playoffs. It's worse.
Right.
They're done. Right. If he doesn't make it to the playoffs, it's the Monday death, right? Now I don't know about McDaniel. If McDaniels doesn't make it to the playoffs next year, that would be horrible. I shouldn't even do that because I don't want to put that bad.
I don't even want to think about that. But no, he has to have success next year. He has to win a playoff game.
He has to win a playoff game, and hopefully with and even go further. Even if he doesn't win the second playoff game, he's competitive in the second playoff game, right? Because we weren't competitive in this.
And
this
you
game.
can't choke down the stretch either. Again,
and you got to score.
You can't back into the playoffs. Like you basically, you didn't really back in, but you kind of backed in. Last year, you backed in completely. This year, you did everything to eliminate yourself from the playoffs. Yeah, you went 2-4.
Another week, you would have been out of the playoffs. If it was an 18-week game, we would have been out.
Yeah.
So anyhow, so that's that. But we talked about McCarthy, McDaniels, that whole concept there. Sirianni, we talked about this earlier, but I just, for those, you might have some New York fans out there that listen to your podcast, and I just feel bad for the Giants, right? They're in a bad way. They married Daniel Jones, and they can't get divorced for a while. They got to at least spend another year with him.
I certainly don't give a shit about anything in New York. No, they can all get flushed right down the goddamn sewer.
These are the Giants, not the Jets.
These are
the Giants, not the Jets.
Jets, Giants.
Remember,
Knicks, Nets.
I'm from
Rangers,
New Jersey.
Devils, Yankees, Mets. Flush all them bitches down the toilet.
Listen. I'm from New Jersey.
Put them in the sewer with the rats.
I'm from New Jersey, and the Giants should be the Jersey Giants. They do play in New Jersey. My wife always says to me, she says, Steve, I don't understand it. They're not the New York Giants. They play in New Jersey.
Yes.
They're not even, they can see New York, but they're in New Jersey.
Another reason why they just need to just go away.
Well, that's the New Jersey thing, but
you're not going to get any sympathy from me from New York.
No, but I just feel bad for the fans. Daniel Jones was a mistake.
I feel bad for Lisa Rose that she's here and she's in Rochester freezing her ass off.
Yeah, well, those people are
Raging Dolphin Maniac. I feel bad for him. He lives in Rochester freezing his ass off.
Listen,
those are the people.
Wait a second, Big O.
And they're Dolphins.
You got to be consistent. It's 26 degrees in New Jersey right now, and it's going to get snow tonight at 4 a.m.
And it smells.
In certain parts of New Jersey.
Snow.
Oh, it's dirty. It's dirty.
Smelly snow.
And it's really crappy. But I will tell you,
there's a lot of dead bodies in New Jersey.
That's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's really the smell. That's what it is. It just
those people
just
they had it coming to them.
Ground and it gets caught up in the wind.
They had it coming to them. On that note, listen, I will sell New Jersey as it's really beautiful 5 months a year. It's really great. If I took you to
that's why he lives here.
And I visit in the summer in New Jersey.
Just visits. That's it. It's like me going to L.A. Love visiting L.A. I wouldn't live there if you paid me.
No. Oh, okay? That's another thing, too. I don't understand why anybody would live in New Jersey, New York, or Connecticut when you could just live in Florida. By the way, when I first moved here 17 years ago, I did my my income tax, and I said, "You mean I'm done? I don't have another income tax to pay?" You know what I mean? Like, look, New Jersey's like 10%.
Oh God!
Like it's
there you go.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's smelly, and they're stealing.
It's expensive. It's expensive. Like it's
ridiculous.
It's really bad.
What the hell you want to live there for?
5 months of the year. If I took you in the Jersey Shore, where I hang out,
I've been to the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, but where I hang out fishing and hang out, you'd be like, "Dude, we're not in New Jersey." But it's only
no. I know that. I've been to the Stone Pony and all that.
No. That's not as nice as where I'm at. Stone Pony's cool. It's not nice.
Hey.
Yeah. No, listen. Island Beach State Park.
Calebro Island.
No.
Okay.
Ticey Shoal. Ticey Shoal. Very cool in New Jersey.
Okay.
Take the boat up there. Bunch of good-looking girls in scantily bikinis. It's only July and August,
Right.
Kind of.
Yes.
It's too cold in May, and it's too cold. It gets cold by September 10th. So, but it's very nice. You would not for those 10 weeks of the summer. You wouldn't know you're in New Jersey, and you'd be like, "Wow, I got to come back." Now, God forbid you came back in January or February. You never go back again.
No shot. No shot.
That's a good
Stone Pony, baby.
Stone Pony is cool. It's very cool.
I need to go. I went there to visit and hang out there, and then I went to PNC.
The Garden State Arts Center. Yeah, that's the Arts Center. It's an outdoor arena.
Yeah, I went for a concert there and all that. But I want to go back to the Stone Pony to go.
So I grew up about an hour north of there, right? Maybe 40 minutes north of 40 minutes north of there. And it's just, and the shore really is about a half hour to 45 minutes south of there.
Okay.
And if you're from Philadelphia, it's an hour and a half south. There's two shores. There's a Philadelphia shore and a New York shore. But New Jersey's great, which is a great segue to end this segment with the Jersey guy. I spoke to him and he has some picks. He has some picks.
What do we got?
Let's go. All right, so here's what he likes. This is going to hurt maybe, but I was a little bit so-so on his picks. The first two I'm all right with, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. He likes the Chiefs getting 2.5 points in Buffalo. He says in big games, he sees Josh Allen turning the ball over when there's pressure, and he thinks that Chiefs are going to put pressure on him.
I agree and disagree. I agree if Ken Dorsey's dumbass was still coaching him and forcing the passes. But if you watch Joe Brady, he's treating him the same way Brian Dable did. He's using the running game.
Okay.
Because you watch Josh Allen, he's running more now than he has been. They're not passing as much. They'll make some passes because they have to, but they're using his legs more now. So I think now if Kansas City, and I talked with Matt Verderam about this on Wednesday, if Kansas City can stop the run and not allow Allen and the running game to get going, then I got your guys' theory 100%.
I can tell you.
But if they do not, and they allow him to run like he did against us, like he did last week, it's over. Bro.
Yeah, but even against us, he turned the ball over 3 times.
The first half when they were throwing more.
Well, you're right.
The second half,
okay, but
they started running.
Yeah,
and then they started running.
That's called good coaching. That's called good coaching. No, they made an adjustment at the halftime.
That's
I get it.
I know it's something we don't have, but I mean, Joe Brady has been handling him better than Ken Dorsey.
I'll give you that.
Ken Dorsey wanted to make him what he isn't. He can't be passing the ball 35, 40, 45 times.
No.
That's not who he is because he's erratic. So he'll make mistakes. Unfortunately, that's just who he is.
Now,
you know what I'm saying? And so you gotta play the player to their strengths. And I know that people are saying, remember, I was talking about it too. Oh, he's taking all these hits. Unfortunately, that's who he is.
And he's a big dude. He could maybe take a few more hits than the average guy.
Yeah,
than the average guy.
But unfortunately, he's going to have to play that way. That's his style.
I can tell you one thing I love about Josh Allen. And so there's two things that I'm a little bit sort of agreeing with you and a little bit crazy. Not sure the Jersey guys got it right here. But first of all, I think there's a mental funk going on in Kansas City's team. I don't know what's going on.
It's the offense.
Yeah, maybe what's his name's in love. I don't get whatever the hell's going on. Something's weird there, and I can't figure that out.
Definitely in love.
I know, but I don't know if that's the only contributing factor.
No. It's just the receivers have been terrible, and now Rasheed Rice he
stepped up a little.
He's the guy. He's the guy. He's helped out a lot for them.
Thank God for him, for them. But I also think, but the other thing is, one thing I love about a quarterback like Lamar or Josh Allen. They can run on third down. When you're 3rd and 8 and you're in a passing situation and there's nothing available, you run 10 yards to get the first down.
Right, I got
That's
you.
huge. That is huge, huge. So I'm not crazy about this pick, but I can see it. 2.5 points given anything to Patrick Mahomes.
I don't have a problem with that because of Kansas City's defense and their secondary is nasty.
Yeah, so it's a pretty good. We'll see. That's a good one.
They assaulted the Dolphin receivers. So the Kansas City DBs dominated them. All right, what's next?
Number 2. Now, number 2 for me, it was Jersey guy's pick, but this is a little bit, I'm the poor underdog, right? We all have this natural tendency to pick the underdog, but they're not the underdog in this game, but the Lions to beat Tampa Bay. Listen, the Tampa Bay we saw against Philadelphia, they were playing not the B team of Philadelphia. They were playing the C team. They were playing. They weren't playing the Philadelphia Eagles. They were playing some other team that I don't know where the hell they came from.
I like their defense. I like what the Bucks did on defense. I got to tell you something. I'm going against the Jersey guy. I'm taking the points.
I
don't trust the Lions defense.
I don't think Tampa. Well, look, I think there's going to be a lot of points scored there. I happen to think, and this was not a Jersey guy pick. I think the over is great because there'll be a lot of points there. But
I like the over better than laying the points.
Yeah,
I'd rather take the Bucks plus 6.5. That would be my first bet, and then the over of 49.5 because there will be scoring.
I'm all about the over. I'm about the over. It's a little high.
That.
It's like 50.5.
49.5.
49.5, right? Now, but the Jersey guy's on the Lions. Now, the last pick, he went a little weird on this one, and he waffled on me in the conversation. And I said, look, you didn't say that earlier in the conversation. He goes, and in that Jersey attitude, he goes, I changed my mind. What? I can't fucking change my mind. And I'm like, he was going off on me because he changed his mind. And I said, hey, dude, that's not what you said earlier, right? So he's a little rough on the edges, but that's all right. We love him, right? So he likes the over in the Houston game. Houston and Baltimore.
Yeah, 43
yeah, 43.5. He likes that. But
I can see that.
But in the initial part of the conversation, he said, I think that's because we were going over it. And he goes, I think that's the under. Then I said, give me your three best. And he says, no, the third one is the Houston and the over. I'm like, dude, you didn't say that earlier. And went off on, the Jersey guys are a little rough.
That'll be
he's a Jersey Philly guy.
Okay.
See, there's two different types of Jersey guys. So there's a line right in the middle of the state. And it all has to do with media.
Okay.
If you're in North Jersey, you watch New York news.
Right.
If you're in South Jersey, you watch Philadelphia news.
Right.
And so there's two different jerseys, right? And so he's a Jersey guy, South Philly kind of, from the South Philly situation. So now, and all my friends are mostly I'm from North Jersey, that they're all from South Jersey, South Philly. And I say, we have everything in common. We all have the Italian aunts with the mustache. We all have that, right? And so we really have the whole culture of our, the Italian culture, all that crap. But the difference is, back when I was younger, in a previous life of Steve Calebro, I was a Giant fan, and all my friends in South Jersey were Eagle fans.
Okay.
Now I've completely given up on the Giants. Well, I kind of treat them as my second.
Dump them bums.
No, they're secondary.
Dump them bums.
Anyhow, so he's a Jersey guy, South. Philly, South, South, maybe Philadelphia being. Anyhow. So that's it. Chiefs, Lions, and the over in the Houston game.
All right. And remember, you can sign up. Go to the Hialeah Park website. We've been telling you every day, many times every day, the no regret first bet. And remember, if you already have a Hard Rock account, do not use the same number or the same email. Open it with a different email or phone number so you can get the $100.
Big O, one more thing about signing up.
Yes.
If you come into Hialeah Park and you play at poker, which is a lot of action in poker, right on the poker table, on the felt of the poker table, is the QR code. Okay. And they'll help you sign up for the sports betting app with Hialeah Park sports betting app / Hard Rock right there.
Yeah,
that QR code
right
is right on that table right now.
Okay.
So we make it easy for you signing up.
And it's easy right there for you right now. So you can sign up and take advantage. What's the next giveaway? You don't know it yet?
We're having a big debate about a car, and I can't.
All right,
I don't have a. We're down to like 4 or 5
maybe next week.
I'm hoping next week. What's that? 80. Do you have any cars that you like in the 50,000 range, give or take? What do you like? Any cars that maybe your viewers?
1987 Cadillac Cimarron.
No, we're not going to give away an 87. We're not giving away
Cadillac Cimarron. You remember that?
I remember that
tiny Cadillac, that Cimarron. It was like the worst Cadillac ever made.
Cadillac made a few mistakes. That was one of them.
That was like the mistake of all time.
There was another one.
It looked like a Chrysler K car.
We love those.
With felt.
But what do you like? What do you like? Do you have a car that you might like in the 50,000, 40, 60, whatever range? Come on.
Hey, Acura Pembroke Pines is our sponsor.
They got a TL, right? That TL's nice.
No, get the electric car.
Oh, and it's a hybrid, right?
It's no, it's electric.
All electric.
All electric, and it's like right around there. It's like 45, 50 grand.
Oh, we got to talk to your guy.
It's badass, Larry Schlossberg. I'll hook you. I'll hook up with.
Yeah, we got to talk to your guy.
I'll give you Larry's number.
Electric Acura.
And it's beautiful, dude.
All right.
That thing looks.
If your viewers sending anything about any cars they think will be cool in the 50 range, I mean,
that one's right there.
Tell me Maserati or something like that.
No. That one right there is in that same range, man.
All right. But you know what though, electric cars, I don't know about saving the world. You know, I don't think we're ready yet. I don't think we're ready
about that. You don't worry about the person that wins is the one that's going to want it. Yeah, you don't worry about it.
Oh, he's from Jersey.
You're doing the right thing. You're giving out something green.
Yes, to
better the environment. So you're doing your part. It's up to them now.
You know what? I will tell you this. I want to tell you, we went to a dealership not too long ago. I won't mention the dealership or the brand. And we were inquiring about an electric car. And the guy says, yeah, nobody in Miami-Dade likes this electric car. It was a certain brand. And I was like, what? The guy was like, when did you hear a salesman unsell you on a type of car? And he had the car in the lot. That's a pretty honest guy.
Right.
But what he was saying was, it's really inconvenient with an electric car. And I guess the Miami-Dade people aren't up for it yet. In the Northeast, they're saving the world. You know, they're saving the world. And we get enough, but I don't know.
No, there's not it's the power stations are set up by Tesla. They're
all
over the place.
You want to know something?
What?
It's funny you say that. So we just are in communication with Tesla.
Right.
And we're putting power stations in our parking lot.
Right.
I know that's contradictory to what I'm saying, right? But it does. No, because there's 12 to 15% of the cars are electric, and you know, we're a business. We don't want to be left behind, right? But I'm saying personally, it doesn't seem like it's that, but it's going to grow every year.
Of course.
And it's not that pricey. Tesla makes it very affordable and reasonable to have. We're going to have 8 or 10 in the main parking lot, a couple in the VIP parking lot, and potentially some over in the south parking lot.
Okay.
Now it takes some time. We got to get permits for the electric.
Right, of course.
We're getting all that crap done, but we've 3 months now. But Tesla's pretty cool about it.
Yeah.
Tesla has been nothing but easy to deal with.
Well, because they're smart. They want to take it over, so they have control of it all over the country. Biden's trying to negotiate with Tesla so they can use, regular cars could use the Tesla thing,
this Tesla charger can.
Right. That was.
It has two if you grab. Here's what Tesla told me. I'm thinking about buying more of the stock. When I talk to the Tesla people, it's every day they say something
I wish
smarter.
You would listen to the show every day. I would have told you to buy it when it was at $106.
I did. I've owned Tesla 3 times. I still own it. It's getting pricey now at 200 and whatever.
Yeah, I know, but that's why I told everybody when it was at 100.
I was at 100.
Last time, this is a buy.
My second and third were like 150, 160, right? So I bought it 3 times, but I still own it, and I don't think I'm going to get rid of it for a long time. But they're so easy. They say, listen, we want to make it easy and affordable for chargers because we want to sell cars. We want to sell electric cars.
Right.
And the way it works is you go up to it's just a little unit. It's just like 14 inches high. It's on a pedestal. And if you grab the top of it, you take that nozzle out like you're taking a gas pump out.
Yeah.
It goes in the non-Tesla car. If you grab it from the bottom of the nozzle, it kind of slides out of that adapter and goes in the Tesla.
Right.
So it handles both cars. They call it the North American charger and the Tesla charger.
Right.
So it works for both.
Right.
So, I mean, hats off to Tesla. They're easy to deal with. Sometimes companies are not easy to deal with.
Yeah. Our dumbass government and Biden, obviously, they're the ones that had to negotiate with Tesla because they want a green highway, but they don't build it.
Yeah.
It's like morons, So it's
crazy.
Like, we're trying to put the cart before the horse is what we're doing.
Too fast. They're doing fast.
And that's the story of our lives.
I think electric will be great when the range is higher than the gas car. So your average gas car gets 350 miles to a tank of gas. If an electric car can last for 500 or 600 miles, now, son, I think a lot more people are buying it.
And you also have to worry about down the line is the minerals that it takes to make those batteries.
Yeah, China's got that all locked up.
Yeah, and in Africa they've got also
South Africa and Africa. Yeah.
So, but that's kind of the whole thing that there's a fight for that stuff too, and that's a major issue, overall. But
anyhow,
It is what it is.
If you know a good card to give away, we've got 5 or 6 that we're arguing over internally.
Okay.
So we'll find out. We'll find a good one.
Appreciate
All right,
you,
guys.
my brother.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
And let's see what the Jersey guy says this week. And
Let's see if he gets it done.
Hopefully.
And tell the Jersey guy to wait for live betting.
That was me.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate you. All right, Steve Calebro. Don't forget to get your $100 no regret first bet at Hialeah Park. What else did I wanted to talk about? Told you about Derrick Henry. We talked a little bit about some of the stuff that happened that I was able to unearth Dolphins wise. Ravens, by the way, released Melvin Gordon. They signed Dalvin Cook to the 53-man roster. Gordon may be going back to the practice squad if he clears waivers. Not that anybody would get him. Tua Tagovailoa, the little brother of Tua, was denied the extra year of eligibility, so he will now enter the NFL draft. He will be lucky to be drafted in the late rounds or probably a street free agent. Okay? I don't think, you're seeing much of that. This Tagovailoa will not be a high draft pick overall. Belichick is having his second interview with the Falcons this weekend. First interview was with Arthur Blank. Now he's meeting with the staff. This is, I thought all along, Falcons, Washington, and then to a lesser extent, maybe Seattle. He might be interested in doing it. The Seattle one, they're so entrenched there, it doesn't seem like it, but Falcons and Washington made so much sense for Belichick. Not that I would want to hire him, to be quite honest. Okay, I love having fun with you guys and the stupid conspiracy theory and all that. But, to me, he's kind of shown me that his offensive mind is not what you need. So we'll see. It all depends on what happens in the personnel department wherever he goes. If he's still kind of in charge, then they're not going to go anywhere because you don't go anywhere with Belichick as your personnel guy overall. He got lucky early in his career with Tom Brady, and that's it. The luck was over because there was no skill behind his picking. In fact, I think it was Bobby Greer, Chris's dad, that really was the key guy to help him get Tom Brady, overall. Did you see that? Did you know that Travis and Jason, their last name is Kelce? Did you see that? So apparently, the kids didn't even know it. So the dad, years ago, his wife didn't know that her last name is Kelce. Kelce, not Kelce. So apparently when he was working and they were going out as boyfriend, girlfriend, she would hear how they would call and say, hey, is Kelce there? Whatever, this, that, because he was a foreman or whatever the hell or some crap like that. And so she would hear that everybody would call him Kelce. And then he got tired for years before that of correcting people and telling him that it was Kelce, not Kelce. And so he just left it like that. And by the way, I do the same thing with Alzugari. It's really Alzugare. But the problem is if you read it and you got to pronounce it exactly the way it's pronounced, people just have a problem with that. So I Americanized it and I just put Al, Zoo, and Gary. And that's what I tell everybody, Al, Zoo, Gary. And that's it. Just say it that way. And I just move on. I don't care. My last name has not been pronounced the right way for many, 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 many decades. I don't really care. It just doesn't bother me. And it doesn't bother him either, right? So he's like, oh, screw it, bro. I'll just be Kelce and that's fine. And let everybody call me that. And then his kids grew up and his wife married him and everything. And they all thought it was Kelce. And then he's recently enlightened them that, no. Your last name is really Kelce. So it's Travis and Jason Kelce, actually, overall. So Travis says he's going to go by Kelce, and then Jason says he's still going to go by Kelce. And the old man said, go by whatever the hell you want to go by. That's a one-of-a-kind family, bro. That's a tight-ass loving, supportive family, no matter what. That's just like those people are what family is supposed to be. That's at least kind of the way I look at it. You know, that's just, my style right there. I love that about them. They are just all about them and they support each other through and through. I find that to be absolutely amazing. Let me go through a couple birthdays today, right? It is January 18th. Let's start it off with. Well, this first block wasn't like anything yesterday. That's for sure. Some guy, Jonathan Davis, metal singer, number 50. Oh, he's Korn. I know Korn very well. I didn't realize his name was Jonathan Davis, the lead singer. David Bautista, the wrestler turned actor. Well, I don't need your thumbs up for that one. Okay. Pep Guardiola, soccer coach, 53. Kevin Costner, 69. T. Higgins, 25. Jason Segel, actor, 44. At least it picked up. Let's see. Estelle, the rapper, she's 44. Have no idea who she is. Cary Grant was born in 1904 on this date. Lost him in 86. And that's it for big names celebrating birthdays today. Let's see. Let's go with music history on January 18th. On this date in 64, the Beatles made their U.S. chart debut with I Want to Hold Your Hand, entered at number 45 just 10 days after its release. It would go on to spend 7 weeks at number 1. In 74, Freeze, Paul Rogers, and Simon Kirke formed Bad Company with members Mott the Hoople and King Crimson. The band went on to score a number 1 album with their debut. In 84, on this date, Van Halen kicked off their 103-date 1984 North American tour at Jacksonville Coliseum in Jacksonville, Florida. And boy, I was there for that tour at the Hollywood Sportatorium. In 91, 10,000 fans attended the tens of thousands of fans attended the Rock in Rio 2 festival in Brazil, where the likes of Guns N' Roses, Joe Cocker, and Prince performed. And in 2016, Eagles guitarist Glenn Frey passed away at the age of 67 on this date. All right. And there you go. By the way, they announced the lineup for Coachella 2024. And I got to tell you something, for those of you especially that live out west, I hate you. Okay? I'm jealous. All right? Not because there's so many bands there that I want to see. It's because there's one band I really want to see. And I got to I know that Coachella tickets would be expensive. I don't know if they're going to do a tour because she's got so much cash and she does so much other things. Maybe she does, and maybe this is just a one-off. I wish they would do a tour because I never got to see them. But Coachella returns to the Empire Polo Club in Indio, California for 2 weekends, April 12th and 14th and 19th through the 21st. Lana Del Rey will be there. Tyler, the Creator, Doja the Cat, or Doja Cat, that is. What else do we have here? Let's see. I want to read a bunch of the other bands that are going. Oh, here it is. Okay. Damn, this thing is not fuckest. Needs to be fuckest. It is not fuckest. Come on, man. All right, here we go. Let me find it this way. That's the best way I do it. And then I can read off of that. So I know I have it here. So there's a bunch of bands. I'm going to tell you, this is terrible. There we go. Now we're home free. We should have our Coachella. Okay, here we go. So, okay, where are we at here? No, I think I got it wrong. Hold on. My bad. Okay. All right. So Lana Del Rey, my daughter would love that. I'm not a little Uzi guy or whatever. Deftones, I love. Who else is in here? Blur, pretty good. Sublime, I like that. Who else? It's not like there's not like a ton of bands that I would go see. I'm not a Doja Cat guy. I'm not a J Balvin guy or anything like that. It's a bunch of them little yachty, and that's not really what I'm all about. Um, there's only a couple that I like, right? But there's one that I love. No Doubt. No Doubt is going to play at the Coachella Festival. I would actually pay. I would travel and go to Coachella just for No Doubt. You couldn't pay me any kind of money to watch Gwen Stefani sing her solo shit. Okay? Like I have no interest in her pop music at all. Not one bit. But No Doubt, man, I love that band. That's a fantastic band. A lot of good music. Obviously, Tragic Kingdom is, one of the best albums of the 90s. And that band was just a lot of fun. And she was a fantastic front woman for that band. And the energy, it's just one of those things that sometimes artists leave their bands, like Natalie Merchant, and her music was never the same when she left 10,000 Maniacs. The Maniacs made way better music than she did on her own. And the same thing I would say for No Doubt compared to Gwen Stefani's crap that she makes, to Holler at Girl and all that garbage that she makes. But No Doubt, dude, I don't know, man. If I hope, because I'm going to miss this, obviously, but I wish that they end up touring, because that would be one. Even if they don't come to Miami and they go to Tampa or Atlanta or New Orleans or something like that, I'll travel to go see No Doubt. I'll go to New York and go see No Doubt. That would be a lot of fun. I know some of you probably, I'm jealous, you probably got to see No Doubt. That slipped on my part. I made a mistake there because I'd always liked their music and I never took the time to go see them in concert. That would be one that I would look forward to immensely if I could go see No Doubt. Let's see. Finn's Rule loves No Doubt. Rosendo says, we live in a lost generation when artists are called by cats and bunnies. Yeah, I mean, band names have never been anything, I'm sure we can think of old bands that might be kind of the same thing, I may be brain farting right now, but there's got to be a couple of bands that might be sounding kind of the same thing, Greg says we're going to start the season with no linebackers. Cam Smith hasn't played a game. O-line needs serious help. Depth needs another running back. If we don't keep Mostert, wonder what Greer has up his sleeve. He'll get it done, my brother. I'm not worried about it. He's done a pretty damn good job lately of building some pretty damn good teams. So I think Greer, McKenzie, and Allen, the three-headed monster, and I wish people would mention McKenzie and Allen more, because Greer is fantastic, but Allen and McKenzie are also awesome. It's a three-headed monster, and there's going to be plenty of options for them. They're going to have the flexibility. I think this is just the media scaring the crap out of you guys for no reason at all. And this started like 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, like 6 weeks ago, when the play started to turn bad. They started to talk, well, you got to get it done because they've got cap hell coming and all that. And it's not true. It's just not true. I get it. People got to sell papers. They got to get clicks and views. So they've got to write the sensationalistic stuff. And, oh, my God, Tua's on the brink of losing his job. And, oh, my God, they're going to hire another coach. And not Mike. And so I get it that they've got to write or just entertain these silly things just so they can get clicks and all that. I'm not into that, dude. I'll just tell you like the real news. I'll tell you like what really is happening and what really is going on. And I'm not going to worry about trying to create some sensationalism out of something that doesn't need sensationalism whatsoever. So we'll stick to what we like to do and how we do things here. But this has been all the media selling you a bunch of bullshit that, oh my God, that there's all these cap hell coming this year. And some of them have backed off of it now because maybe now they're trying to get the facts now. But, and still some are trying to spew that. As I've told you, you've got 2 more years to play with. In 3, there will be problems. So you've got 2 more years to figure this thing out. And you better figure it out. You better figure it out. Okay? That's why I don't think there's going to be, that's why I knew there's not going to be any major changes. With the quarterback, with the head coach, with the front office, not going to happen. So there'll be a bunch of changes, but it'll be in the roster. Just like I believe the people that keep telling you that, oh, they'll get Wilkins signed. Oh, they'll tag Wilkins. No, they won't. They won't be tagging Wilkins, and Wilkins will price himself out of the team. They will not pay the money that he's going to ask for, even more money than he did last year. And he was already asking for money in the Quinnen Williams range. So if you're going to be asking for that kind of money, and nugget alert, you weren't happy about not getting it. And you made sure you told people in the building that you weren't happy about not getting your contract. Looked all rosy up front, right? Out in the clear, everything looked great and smiling and all that. Behind the scenes, it wasn't as smooth as you think it was. And it wasn't as cordial as you think it might be. We clear on that? He won't be back. We thank David Furones and Steve Calebro for joining us here on the program as always. And of course, we thank John Brunetti Jr. and the Brunetti family, as always, incredibly supportive of our platform, and we love them. Thank you so much. I've been dealing with the Brunetti family and everybody here at Hialeah Park for over 20 years, man. You know, so this place has got such a special spot in my heart. Every time I come to this place, I think of my father all the time because I spent a lot of time with my dad here, you know, back in the 80s and had a lot of fun, actually. So this has always been a special place. And they've got a special deal going on right now with your no regret first bet. Use our QR code. Remember, if you have a Hard Rock account, do not use the same email or phone number that you use for your Hard Rock account. Use a completely different phone number or email for this one here. So go to the Hialeah website, sign up through the Hialeah website, and use a different email or a different phone number if you have a Hard Rock account. So you can get your $100 no regret first bet. All right. Sean Stanley, sir, thank you, as always, for your exceptional work on this platform every single day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We will see all of you tomorrow morning. We'll be in studio tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Same time, same place, same bat channel.